Hello, everybody, and welcome to In Depth. This is episode number 21, and we have a humdinger of an episode for you today.
Humdinger.
Yes.
I don't know what that is, but
You don't
sounds
know
like something you
humdinger?
put on bread.
Oh, damn. I am getting so old in comparison to everyone.
Humdinger.
No, it's an exciting episode, actually. You're not as excited about it as I am.
I mean, I can be excited
You were a little
about
bit hesitant.
it. No, was I?
Yeah, a little bit.
I thought I said, yeah, sure.
You did say yeah, sure, but
Am I
you
ever
weren't like,
hesitant?
whoa,
Am I ever like-
Artos,
Am
this
I
is
ever
so
like,
great.
no? Just like, you know what? I'm not feeling this one. And you're like, oh, come
Yeah,
on.
no, you've never done that.
Yeah,
not
I'm
yet.
always like, yeah, let's do it.
I'm going to keep making worse and worse shows until you do.
I think you're actually more hesitant. I think I had a really cool episode in my mind, and you're like, that's fucking stupid. And I'm like, what? I thought that was a
That
good
sounds
idea.
like something that would happen. So, what we have today
Mhm.
is Serral engagements, because you and I believe, we're talking, because we talk about Serral a lot. Obviously, we're going in depth on the best players in the world. He's the best, so it makes sense.
Mhm.
But something that correct me if I'm wrong, but I recall us talking about how he just never loses engagements.
Yeah.
Right?
It feels like every time he decides to take an engagement, he wins it. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes.
It's very rare to see him take an engagement that he, like, unless he's, like, on the back ropes and he's, like, dead.
Yeah.
In which case, obviously, you just go. But when he decides to take a fight, it almost always goes his way.
Yeah, and then on the Pylon show last week, Tilo said that out of the blue, unprompted. That he just wins all of his engagements. It's crazy, and so that made me think. I'm like, well, damn. Why don't we just look at his engagements and see what he's doing, and just kind of like. The thing is, I'm not even exactly sure what I'm looking for here. This is how I start approaching things like this that are interesting. Is I just start watching replays and kind of writing some stuff down, and just seeing where the patterns start to emerge,
Right.
and then being like, oh wait, we got to go back and look at this and see oh, is this what he's doing that's really different, or whatever it is, because obviously having more units than your opponent is important, and hitting your drone timings correctly and having clean inject cycles and stuff like that, not being supply blocked, those are huge, but there's more to it than that.
Right.
There's more than one player that can perfectly nail their drones, I would
Sure.
say, right?
Sure. And if it was so simple, it would feel like it'd be easily replicated. You know?
Yeah, and it's just not.
But I do have some preconception or
Yeah?
whatever. I have pre-thoughts.
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 Give
on
me your
this.
pre-thoughts.
I don't know what the word is. I don't want to.
No, I want to hear your pre-thoughts.
So, I feel like it is a bit of more like just army size and a bit of preparation than it actually is controlling the units, or it just feels like he has more stuff in almost all the fights.
Yeah.
Even if it's a couple roaches and he's like, I'm going to win this fight, it's not like he controls the roaches miraculously better than Raynor or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's more like he just has more numbers. And it feels like that'll probably be the case in a lot of this, but it's hard to say 100%.
Yeah. Well,
Specifically ZVZ, and I think will be more like this because actually...
yeah, no, I think you're right that ZVZ would most look like that, because that's where the drone balancing is most important.
Though, in the late game, because then it starts to get technical when we're going yoinking
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
and
true.
Then we're getting into a real technical engagement. But in the mid game, it's actually just roach throwing at each other.
Yeah.
And doing
yeah.
I'm going to sneak roach here, you know what I mean?
And that's I kind of agree with what you're talking
Pre-notion.
about with that,
Thank you,
with your
guys.
pre-notion.
Preliminary thoughts, you guys did.
There
Thank you
go.
guys.
Wow, these guys are way better. at
Making me
speaking
better
than you.
commentators.
If anyone in the chat wants to cast GSL with me, you're all better at English than no regret, so please. So yeah, okay, that stuff's all interesting. What I really want to see is the decision making processes, because so I feel like there's something else in there too. It's not just the macro or having a few more units. It's probably most of it's probably not just superior control. He's not Bjorn, right? Bjorn takes terrible engagements, or used to. He's obviously in the military right now, so we don't get to see him play. But he would take engagements where you're like, no, and then he'd win them through micro, and it's like, okay, that's cool. That's a superpower.
Something just came to me.
Yeah.
Me and Australia were walking to a store, and we thought a bit, and we're like, is decision making come from being intelligent, or does it come from preparation and practice? And we thought a lot about it, and we're like, we actually both came to the somewhat conclusion that it actually comes from playing a ton of games, because you don't actually have much time to think.
Yeah.
It's not like you sit there and you're like, okay, I could do this, I could do that. It's more just like, I'm going, I'm not going, I'm going here, I'm going there. You know what I mean? Like, it's all pre-decided almost based off of your practice.
Yeah.
So I don't know where I was going with this. But
No, it's good. I'm glad that you bring that up, actually, because I think
we were talking about more almost like a nurture versus nature kind of thing, where is it like pre-prepared, or is it more just like practice, just straight up 12-hour a day practice, and we were meshing. I mean, this was a couple weeks ago, so
Sure.
it's hard for me to remember everything. So it could be straight up, he's extremely decisive based off of practice, or something along the lines of that too. Like, I think decisiveness is actually really important in StarCraft 2.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah, you don't actually have time to think when you're playing at the pro level in most situations. There are some situations where you can take a moment and think.
it's almost like robots, where it's like 0-1. You know, like 0 not go, 1 go. You know,
Kind
like
of,
it's
yeah.
like
And-
it's very quick.
So
when I play.
what they call this in like the world of learning, because I again read a lot of books about stuff like this, is mental representations. So if you have to play a hell of a lot of games to get proper mental representations for certain scenarios.
Yes.
So things that you are seeing all the time, eventually you'll build up a bunch of slides in your head basically
Yeah,
where
you're
you
actually
know
just better at
exactly what's going
explaining.
to happen.
You're better at explaining what I was thinking.
Well, here's the thing. I am actually 12 years in the future, or however much older I am than you.
Nice. I'm gonna have a bunch of kids. Nice.
You probably are, because my kids love this guy. But yeah, like this is the natural path that someone interested in this type of stuff will take, where you end up reading all this stuff and getting a
Right.
little bit more technical speaking about it. But to build up these mental representations so that you can very quickly make these decisions and just like instantly, because it's more important actually to be decisive than to be right.
Yeah.
Most of the time in
Most of the
StarCraft.
time.
A bad decision done quickly and well is better than the right decision that's slow or indecisive. You know, you have to nail things. So definitely that's a huge part of it. But I think that the actual just kind of intelligence, broad-based intelligence, has a lot of different aspects where thinking outside the game, that's going to help you more. Like thinking theoretically about things. I think in base trade scenarios, we see real intelligence come out. Like, I bet
Yeah,
you SOS
I
has like
agree.
the highest IQ out of the pros or something.
There's a
right?
lot of,
he's
like-
just you look at him in these end games that he's never seen. He's
Right.
never seen them. There's no way the amount of weird base trades he's been in, and he just nails it, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, there's something extra there intelligence-wise, I would say. But
Yeah, I was thinking a lot about this for the like builds I practiced a lot, because I'll play like the same build over and over and over again for like 50, 60 games, and people are like, "Why are you doing that?" And then
that's
when
the
I-
way to do it. It's
yeah,
the only
when
way
I
to do it.
replay those games, like I can. There's just things that I pick up that I'm like, I didn't even think about this, like intellectually. It just got stored in my brain somehow.
That's right.
Like
That's
for
right.
example, I'll look at an egg and I'll be like, okay, instant surround it, and then a ling will pop out and I'll kill one of the lings for free. I'm like, this just makes sense to me,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
because I've done it before, and all these like little things like accumulate, all of them. There's just like many little things. Like the other day I sniped a ling with one of my lings and then I won the fight by 1-0 going, I'm like, this is like crazy stuff,
Yeah,
right? It all
yeah.
just like accumulates to me becoming like one of the best 13-12ers out of everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because I've practiced it so many times and I can just
Well, you've built those
Like the
mental
slides.
representations to see these things that other people don't see. There's so much space within everything in StarCraft where you look at the whole picture, and anyone that watches can be like, yeah, it's like a 13-12 against this hatchery, like this hatchery first, right?
Yeah. Oh,
But
this
like,
this gets me. This gets me
Yeah.
so much.
The
Because everyone's
more
like,
that you-
this guy's an idiot. He just does the same shit every game. No. Okay.
No.
When I played my GSL qualifier, I beat in a Impact 4-2. That was the score.
Yep.
I believe I 13-12'd him like 5 of the 6 games or something.
Yeah.
He was 7,000 MMR at the time, and he won VSL like right before, and everybody was just
Yeah,
like,
he was in sick shape
everybody
at
was
that time.
giving him shit, and I'm like, no, he was really good. But the thing was,
He was.
he just didn't know how to prep for 13-12 because he's always the aggressor. Like he was going like 16 pools, 16 like early pools,
Yeah.
and he would just die because it's so minute. Like the little things just kill you. Like
Yeah.
you lose 2 lings when you go 16 pool, you just get overrun.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's like the little things like that just like lose you games. So they will never know. Like you won't think that 2 lings will lose you the game, but I will know that.
Yeah.
Like I'll
yeah.
kill 2 lings and then I'll just pull back because I'm like I can win the game now
Well,
with brute numbers.
yeah, there's so much space within it. Like, for instance, if you rip off a build order, right, it's like you kind of see this wide picture of, like, this is the build order and this is what I do. But there's so many tiny things inside of it. And even once you dive deeply into it and really study it and then pull back and have a better understanding of the whole thing, there's actually a hell of a lot more still in there.
Yeah,
You
there
can
is.
go so deep in any strategy in StarCraft 1 or 2. It doesn't matter what matchup. It doesn't matter what the build order is or whatever. There is so much little tiny nuance in there.
This excites me for what is coming up then, because I think I thought of it more plainly than I am now, possibly. Like it is possible that I'm right and he's just better and he just has more units or whatever, but it's also possible that he has everything planned out. And it wouldn't be surprising either way, I don't think. But we'll have to see, I guess.
Sorry, I do have a little bit of a cold. What do you mean everything planned out?
Like, I don't know. For example, he could be so good that he interprets or anticipates engagements before they happen, or like visualizes them.
Yeah.
Right? Like it could be that deep, or it could just be like, I've got 2 more roaches than you. I'm going.
Yeah. Well, I think that there is a big range in the ways in which he's better than everyone. Because the amount he's better than everyone is so phenomenal. It's like it's wild how strong he actually is. And this is coming from like the #1 Flash watcher in Earth, right? It's like Serral is a truly high level player, and there is a lot to it. And the thing is, like, we're so lucky in StarCraft 2. Like, for instance, this WCS Fall replay pack that we're going through, that's available on the internet.
Right.
And if I was an up-and-coming Zerg player or something, I would just sit there and pause every 2 seconds watching Serral. That's, like, seriously, you can learn infinity. And the thing is, from all these top pros, you can learn a lot.
I find that emulating people is actually quite hard.
Yeah, well, you...
So, like, for me learning, because I tried doing this a long time ago, emulating someone else's play was a lot harder for me than to play my own style, because I was very unfamiliar with everything. I think if I had kept going many years, then sure, I could be way better than I am now. But at the time, it felt more gratifying to play my own style and get instant feedback on my own play style than to follow a path of unknown. I think that was a mistake, though, by me, to be honest.
Well,
if
you first off, the better you get, the more important it is to do your own thing within StarCraft. The best player in the world will never be someone who's copying someone else. Just by definition, it can't occur.
Right.
So
I agree with that, but I also think they have to play a certain style.
Well, you have to have a certain level of stability, no doubt,
right.
but you don't have to have a certain style, because
so
if you look at it, we have plenty of world champions that are super aggressive and plenty that are macro.
Yes, but the funny thing about those world champions, besides like life, is they disappear a lot. Like all the really good world champions, Sniper.
He's a GSL
but
champion.
I'm just saying, like, champions along
that was
the
a
lines
broken metagame as well, but
of like people that come up with something that are either broken or cheesy or whatever. Like it doesn't. It's not a repeatable thing a lot of the times. I mean, SOS did it, but even SOS wasn't necessarily a cheesy, like a. I don't know how to define him. He wasn't like a. He's not like a Haas, right? He's more of like his own thing where he can actually play the long game too.
Yeah.
Which makes him really hard. I think if you're shoeholed into just playing early game, you can't really be a world champion. You need to have that ability to go the long distance, because people can just hold out and then win or whatever.
Yeah, well, I think we're getting a little bit off track, but
Life disappeared. All right, good job, Maynard. That was
funny. No, but okay, yeah. The style thing is something I guess we'll have to
revisit.
Yeah, revisit in there.
That might be an interesting episode.
Yeah, there's infinity of those.
Yeah.
Let's jump into our first game here. We're gonna start out with Serral's ZVT games.
Hate when we have to go over our actual topic.
I know. I want to just sit here and talk with you all day. Well, I guess that's what we're kind of doing anyways. But, all right, we're looking for engagements specifically. So we'll just...
Let's follow only Serral's vision. I'm kind of... Because I think that's all that really matters.
Sure.
For this episode, at least.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. We don't care about what the other player's doing.
I like... Okay, wait. First Overlord is already kind of interesting, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah, second Overlord is the most important, I guess, because you're going in. I think a lot of Zergs will risk it. Like, there's a lot closer spot right here. I'm wondering why not. But at the same time, I guess, why? Like, what's the point? Why
well,
do you think
it could be a specific thing from
HeRoMaRiNE.
HeRoMaRiNE. Maybe he likes to do things like lift something to see it, or
wait. Oh, you know, he opened Reaper. It would have gotten there. I don't know. It's interesting. That's already just interesting to me. I guess he doesn't get any information from it, and he'd rather just keep the Overlord safe. Okay, so he gets Overlord speed. That Overlord moves in. Actually, with Overlord speed, it doesn't matter, because it's just going to come in.
That's true. That's true. Safety first, I guess.
I like how that Overlord, as soon as it gets hit by the Viking, it just turns it around, because it's never going to get away. Might as well. I'm a little surprised, actually. What did he not scout any? Oh, he didn't scout for the. I think. Do you think this?
He
is
scouted for Stim, yeah.
This Overlord coming back is a little interesting, but I guess.
Oh, I like it, kinda. Because
Really?
he had a good idea of where the Viking was and everything. You're not really expecting that so much to come back.
I mean, he's going to lose the Overlord, though.
Yeah, he'll lose it, but I think the intel is more important for him.
So what are we looking for? A fusion core? Or something?
Not sure. We're looking for engagements, you and I. What Serral's looking for?
Well, this stuff all plays into,
Yeah.
possibly plays into it.
Well, he hasn't seen the third command yet, but based on what he sees in the main base, I think he can put it together.
It's actually pretty amazing. Like, even just thinking about, like, where you leave your queens. Like, this is something I don't think a lot of players put a lot of thought into. But, like, just having your queens here and having your lings here, basically all the pathways are stopped, right?
Yeah.
Hellions run up here, they're dead.
Yeah.
Hellions run by
They try
here,
to come
they're
through
dead.
the green,
and if
they're
you come
dead.
through the circle, yeah. We have enough time to just back up the lings so you never
Yeah.
engage in that.
And then basically what happens is the Hellions come out of the green and then you hit them. And then they can't run
and
away.
They can't run away,
Because
exactly.
they go into the green.
So positioning just the queens and the lings and where they were defends basically everything. I think a lot of high-level Zergs already have this down, but it's just like these are just little intricate things.
Yeah.
Also, even like got to think about where you want to put them for creep spreading purposes and that kind of stuff. Re-creeping.
Hey, you made it back.
Is that the same Overlord?
Yeah.
Damn.
Quality stuff.
We'll
Okay, so
probably
no
see him
engage
take a
yet.
fourth soon, I would think.
21-minute game. We're definitely going to have a couple engages for sure.
Looks like he was ready to... He moves so fast. Okay, even like... Just that Ling movement is so interesting to me. As soon as he doesn't see the Hellions, he just moves them back into a safer position where he can defend his bases if there's a run-by. Because every single little run-by can actually just lose you the game in this level. Like, if a Hellion run-by went in and killed 10 drones, which we'd never see because it's Serral, the game could just end.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll spiral out of control.
Especially someone like HeRoMaRiNE behind the controls.
Yeah, because they
you'll
just
be in a
like
lot of
never
trouble.
they never relent. They're just constantly pushing you.
Yeah.
And you're constantly losing. Your fights are just barely. You're barely winning them, but your problem is your economy's been crippled. So every fight goes worse and worse.
And you will definitely dry up. Okay, here we go. Excellent. Here we go. So, one thing I do want to point out is that Serral did scout as the third command was coming. He saw the army.
He saw Marines and tanks.
Yep. And I think he knew that this would be coming relatively soon. He's been pushing the creep down here. Looks like he's sending some units. This is his first real seeing of this.
Look at that Overlord.
Yeah, he sees exactly what's going on.
That is cool. That Overlord being there is a very cool thing. I was thinking about like where he's putting his Overlords, and if you look at like his creep spread and where his Overlords are, it's basically perfect vision. But if you didn't have those Overlords, there's spots where the Medivacs could skirt through. I don't think that Overlord's actually there to see tanks up there, but at the same time, he can.
I think that's for drops specifically because I could see a tank going right there.
Yeah.
Right, so this is not necessarily...
But it's still nice. I mean, the only thing killing that is a Viking. Like, the Marines will never kill it.
Yeah. No, it's a good place to put it. You're not likely to see the Viking there. All right, let's take a look.
So this we could characterize as decisive. He's just very decisive. Even the... Okay, wait, let's go back and follow his camera because I want to see what he's looking at. Because it felt like that was sloppier than it could have been. It could have actually been even better.
Well, I think you do have to deal with this very quickly, but I liked
agree.
when you said decisive. Let's see.
It was very decisive.
Right, so he's getting in there. Okay,
I mean,
he already sees the tank.
Yeah, he looked at it, right?
Yeah. Okay, so he's coming down for the flank. And he's saying,
Banelings-
screw it. Look at the Medivacs. I think that this is why he's jumping on it. The Medivacs were out of position here.
Yeah.
You see those? Okay, so...
So he splits his lings towards the siege tanks he knows are here. I think he assumes that all the Marines are here based off of just the amount you could produce, even though there's 2 Marines here. If you watch the lings specifically, it really tells me that because all this ling clump shoots or just attacks these 2 Marines, which is why I said it's a little sloppy because these could have been on the siege tanks immediately. So I think he assumes these 2 Marines aren't here and just goes for this.
Yeah. There's no reason for 2 Marines to be here, but at the same time, that's why the Medivacs are behind a little bit, I think.
Just watch.
But the way
what
he
he
came
does.
down, right? So you had a reasonable creep spread. It's not perfect. This is kind of his weak point. HeRoMaRiNE has found his weak point, I would say, right? That's probably this is the best position to attack him from. You look around here. This is impossible to attack.
Right.
There's way too much creep. You have to work on that for a long time. So the 4th base is the obvious location.
Is it kind of interesting that he took this 4th and not the other one then? If we decide that, maybe by drop, or because it kind of looks like drops would be annoying a little bit because you can jump from the 4th to the main.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean,
Seems like this is a really reasonable attack path for HeRoMaRiNE.
Yeah.
And
this one feels.
this
a lot
doesn't
worse.
look as
Maybe late game though that could be more annoying.
yeah, maybe. I'm not sure exactly why he chose this base, but
This one's a little closer, I think, for sure.
Well, let's take a look at the rest of the engagement, right? So he ran the units down this way. The medevacs are a little bit out of position.
Though I don't think the medevacs being well, besides picking up.
Well, the thing is, if you send all your Banes here, and you pick up with the medevacs, and the tanks target Banelings, and then you drop the Marines up here, then you clean the Lings, right?
Well, no, because the Lings or the Marines would drop out one at a time, and they would all die.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like there's a possibility that you can screw this.
Trust. It would
There's
be really
not
hard.
that many Lings.
Okay, so watch the Lings, because the Ling part is really interesting to me. See this? This is a huge mistake. I mean, it doesn't matter, but like he was clearly not controlling that. So I think it was more important to get the Marines, don't get me wrong. But I think he did just assume that the tanks were going to be left alone.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, you would just shift queue them while you were fighting.
This was obviously a very good engagement from Serral, right? That is clearly a victory for him.
I feel like still, this is almost more on HeRoMaRiNE than on Serral. But I didn't think...
Well, the thing is, anytime someone wins an engagement, someone loses an engagement.
True.
And StarCraft takes two.
Do you think that Serral did better here, or did HeRoMaRiNE did worse? Like, if we had to pick... It feels like HeRoMaRiNE did a little bit worse than Serral here.
Well, anytime someone loses an engagement...
Like that?
I generally blame the player that lost it. But the thing is, you can't overlook the fact that Serral wins, like, every engagement, right? So...
Sure, I agree with that. But it also feels like HeRoMaRiNE just kind of, like, sieged up and went, and then lost his army. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't, like... It's not like he scouted. He's like, okay, I'm going to do this thing.
Well,
so
his second tank wasn't siege. He didn't do it perfect, right?
Do people...
There's no question there.
Do people do this just to trade their army?
No. There's no way. Because that was not efficient. The thing is, if this engage goes well for Terran, it's obviously awesome.
Okay.
All right, let's look at this.
We got something to write here?
Yeah, we do. Okay. So this is against HeRoMaRiNE, and this is game 1.
Wait, while you do this, I want to look at this. Oh, wait,
well, you can't. You can't because I'm typing. Okay.
Lame. Very decisive, yeah.
Decisive versus tank Marines at 4th. All right. So there we go with that.
So wait, one more thing I want to see. I just want to see exactly what he's clicking on and what he's doing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, let's do that. Switch scenes.
Oh yeah, that would be helpful.
So I'm wondering what he's doing with his Lings, what he's doing with his Banelings. I mean, he does just click his majority of his Lings off, but I'm kind of curious because there is a split. Where does he go with his Banes, you know? Because a lot of indecisiveness there will lose you a ton of Banes to see.
Let's slow it down and make sure we can see normal speed.
This is actually slower than...
Here we go. He's sending them.
He's actually scouting too. Okay, so immediately we split off a chunk.
Yeah, you splits the Banes.
So he's not watching these Lings at all. Okay, now he's watching. He actually prioritizes his Banes over his Lings and everything.
Mm-hmm. The Marines are the actual damage dealers here, so it makes sense.
Wow. That was impressive. You know what else was really impressive? I think these queens are so important.
Oh, yeah.
I've never really put in that much emphasis on queens.
Well, they zone the medevacs. You can't just zoop your medevacs over to get the Marines at this point.
And you can immediately creep, too. As soon as you push this back, I bet he throws in a bunch of creep tumors.
They also tank a bunch of the damage.
Incredible that he doesn't even... This tank isn't even dead yet, and he's already macroing, too. I think the Lings are a bit of a reaction, but at the same time, I guess he lost most of his stuff, so he kind of has to replenish them. Like, it would be kind of nice if
he's on 70 drones. Seems like he can just do it.
I mean, yeah, sure. He could also have 10 more drones, but...
Yeah, that's true.
But this is being nitpicky. I don't think it's necessary to be that nitpicky with the world champion, but... So the macro is really impressive.
Okay, so are we going to have another engage? No, just pushing him back.
Look, okay, another thing that Serral does incredibly. Look at immediately when he pushes something back where he goes with his army. This army here, this army here. And
is that what he just did?
Yeah, he just immediately after pushing this back, because the Marines could just come back and kill this, right? But he just assumes, why would you push here when you knew my Lings and Banes were here? So he immediately just splits to the 2 other spots where you'd be attacked.
I like it.
It's really impressive. Like,
yeah. Great spreading. And then the
look, it actually happened,
center.
and he wasn't ready, right? Because That would be a little bit. That's
I think
actually really cute, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because statistically, or if you think HeRoMaRiNE like processes what just happened, right, and assumes this is here, you know, like this stuff is already here, and also it came back really quick. Like, it's not a big difference. And I like he doesn't send this one back either, right? That's cool. It's just this.
Well,
little
that's
stuff
his new
doing
base, and now look at this too, right? So he's having this little battle, but look, right, right. You look at that on the mini map. There's just like where you would have to thread to hit this base is insane, and there's a spore here, which buys him extra time if you wanted to commit here, and if you go any deeper, it gets dangerous.
And the one place I
so
would say
this is actually the weak area,
Yeah.
and this is the weak area.
And his units are there.
And hold on. We got to back it up. Yep. Okay. Watch this. This is crazy. So he split the mains, right? Watch.
Yep.
Okay. See that, Ling? Watch him. He didn't know this area.
This too.
Yeah. He shift queued a Zergling over here to patrol here to watch for incoming attacks. So the Banelings were coming. He realized that he left himself in a spot that could have been open and sent the Zergling over. And then as soon as the Zergling's there, he can bring the Banelings back to the middle to fight because he knows nothing's coming through here.
Right.
And then this is the big scary area. There could be shit over here he doesn't know.
It's impressive.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
Yeah.
That's some good high-quality stuff right there. This kid is good at StarCraft.
All of these mechanics that he's had are... Because I was thinking a little bit of, like, why Serral and not Neeb, you know? And...
Well, maybe we'll look at Serral versus Neeb next and see the real answer to that.
No, I mean, like, Neeb was so dominant in 2017, besides the laser series or a laser tournament. But it seems like his mechanics were shifted out, which we talked about. It was like they were nerfed out a little bit, like what made him really good. But what makes Serral really good is I don't know if it can possibly be nerfed. You know what I mean? Just being really aware of everything.
Well, I think that Neeb is a phenomenal late game player as well. I know that he is because he was the one person that could beat Rogue in the late game, and the year Rogue was the best late game player in the world. But I mean, thanks to all of our Zerg and Terran whiners out there, Protoss has been nerfed in the ground 1,000 times for the late game. So all the tools that Neeb is super good at, all the late game crap. You know how he switched from Terran to Protoss and got real good? He needs to switch from Protoss to Zerg, and he will be the best again. I don't know if we call this an engage, but let's take a look at it.
Again, this feels like HeRoMaRiNE, right? Like, it's nice that Serral has his units there, but HeRoMaRiNE should have picked up.
So he's already got his units there. Okay, watch. He doesn't see this coming. Here it comes. The millisecond it comes on the mini-map. He's there.
It's really interesting to see him so decisive. I think at certain points in the game, at like 840, he knows he's not going to be attacked by a 140 army supply unit or whatever, right? Because, like, it would be interesting if there were siege tanks and, like, everything was here. You know what I mean? Like, this would be terrible.
Yeah, it would be impossible, though.
Right. So he immediately just assumes he can jump on this with this army. Even if there's one tank here, this could be really bad. I mean, how many banes is that? 4? 5?
By the way, we can agree that Serral's the best late-game Zerg in the world and the best Zerg in the world and the best player in the world, right?
Yeah.
And we can agree that he has gone Ling Bane this game, right?
Why, you're going to tell me Ultras...
Do you see that Ultraless Cavern?
I do. Now the question is this a stepping stone for Broodlords?
Yes, of course, it always is. You don't stay on Ultras unless the game really dictates it. But yeah, I just want to throw that out there. Okay, so he instantly jumps upon this. This is, like, it's so quick. I actually, because this goes terribly for HeRoMaRiNE, right? So,
yeah. I mean, HeRoMaRiNE's not selecting any of this stuff.
Okay, we got to jump back, switch to HeRoMaRiNE. Okay, camera. Let's slow it down. I want to see if he starts going down the hill and then goes to a macro cycle or something like that. Let's see.
I see where you're going with this. The fact that it was engaged on the ramp, he might not have been ready for it. He already sees it. I think at this point it's already a bit of a mistake. Yeah, he's controlling another one.
What is he doing?
I think what he...
Oh, this is normal speed. I'm like, is he the slowest pro gamer in the history of the world?
I think what it was he wasn't planning to actually engage at all. Like, he was going to sit this here, and then he was going to attack here.
and then hit it.
Yeah, he was going to attack this with this. Clear creep, and then hit with this. So he wasn't actually prepared for this at all, and I think he thought he was outside of vision. What actually gave Serral the vision?
No, it just his Marine popped down the ramp, and he saw it.
Wow.
And Serral jumped on it. All right, hold on. I got to write this down.
Okay.
Again, I'm not sure exactly what I'm looking for with writing this stuff down.
To be honest.
Yeah, it was instant decisiveness.
And I think the instant
So-
decisiveness caught HeRoMaRiNE off guard. I don't think HeRoMaRiNE was actually prepared for it. First drop. I think we'd all agree that if for whatever reason there was like his entire army here and there was a bunch of tanks, that would be a really bad call from Serral. But at the same time, what's the worst he could lose? Like maybe 10, 15 lanes?
Yeah, no, that's kind of the nice thing about this style.
Like he could just back up immediately after he gets hit by a tank.
There's one other thing I just thought I wanted to put here. Hold on a second. So Lingbane, it was a very decisive move. Units were ready at weak point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that I think is very, very interesting.
I think the big thing too is engaging. He engaged when HeRoMaRiNE wasn't thinking he'd be engaged. You know what I mean? I don't know how to put that in better words.
For sure, HeRoMaRiNE did not think that was going to occur, but I think that
that was
big takeaway here, the reason why he just got a bunch of free units, right? He killed 10 Marines there for almost nothing, is that he has that group up here.
Sure.
You know, he has that group up here.
Also, yeah, it's here and not at the base.
Yeah, he's not like just sitting stuff in the middle. And he's like, I'll just run my whole army everywhere.
Like,
no, he's got it split. He knows that this is his weak area.
Whoops. It could be like even here, you know, but like it's because he knows he's not going to be attacked here. Like if somehow a drop came in and his army was here, that would be bad.
Well, he can run back and kill it still, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's got an overlord here too. But if this overlord wasn't here, then you're more likely to set your army here.
Yeah.
I also think it's a bit bad. Like HeRoMaRiNE could have reacted fast enough to still save that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it obviously is not a perfect scenario there for HeRoMaRiNE. He did not play it magnificently. All right, hold on. I'm sorry, I just jumped to his camera.
Oh, another decisive fight. Immediately after his last one too, by the way. This is sick. Wow. That was sick. Okay.
Okay, we got to go back and look at that. He barely looked at it too.
Like he takes the fight because a lot of Zergs will just chase that off creep and lose all their banelings. Like he was very, very decisive on retreating the Banes when he knew it was no longer going to be efficient.
All right, so here we go. All right, he sees it.
He's still macroing too. It's incredible. His macro does not skip a beat. Watch the Bane pull back. As soon as it leaves creep, he backs up immediately.
Damn.
And he doesn't even chase with lings either. You know why? He doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to.
It's not necessary.
It's a really well set
All
thing.
he has to do is protect his creep. And that's what he's doing.
Look at this. He's over halfway there.
Yeah.
Right? Half is here. So he's over halfway. When you have that much creep, you just have the advantage. I love the pullback. That was awesome.
Yeah, he's decisive in pulling back too.
Yeah.
It's almost like he set a rule book for himself, and as soon as the rule is like achieved or not achieved, he just immediately.
There's something to be said about that. Like when Liberators were first brought into the game, I talked about that a lot.
Only 10 seconds between the two engagements, by the way, and his macro didn't skip a beat between those 10 seconds. It was crazy. Like as soon as his hive finished, or I guess not as soon, but he was just hitting his everything. The upgrade count is actually quite interesting to me, though. That his 2/2 is only halfway done, and he has hive already finished. And it's even behind HeRoMaRiNE's.
Yeah. It seems like maybe his melee was just slightly slow, but yeah, based on the time of the carapace and the time of the +2 for HeRoMaRiNE,
like HeRoMaRiNE, right?
Yeah, he started his evos just after the e-base, so he should be just slightly behind on that. I like that he's rushing up though, because I think when you go Ling Bane, if you stay on it too long, obviously you're in trouble. You need to get into ultras, I think, for a little bit, because that gives you the stability to get into everything else.
90 drones. 90. The way you saturate your bases when you have 90 drones is also quite interesting to me. I mean, obviously, that's just a bit of an oversight, but look at his saturation. It's beautiful. 16, 16, and then those 4 drones could be here, right? So he could be 14 out of 16. Like that's monstrous. Like I think you actually need another hatchery, even with perfect injects, to actually.
Oh yeah, on Ling Bane, I think you can absolutely get that additional hatchery.
I mean, he's got 1,000 minerals now.
Absolutely.
But he doesn't have enough gas though. Yeah, this is really interesting. I feel like if I'm Serral in this position, if you gave me, and I'm not even a great macro player at this position, I could beat anybody. And I think that's something that's interesting in itself, right? The fact that if I was given everything from this point on, it feels really hard to throw away an advantage that he's given himself at this point.
It kind of does, but the game is so long.
Even if you put yourself in this position, well, like that's possibly because he plays this way. I guess as the game goes on.
Well, the thing is, I think that this tech route always goes late game.
Sure.
Because if you go Ling Bane, my argument has been for quite some time that you need to go Ultra as your follow-up for stability and then get into additional tech.
Or whatever.
If you kill someone with Ultras, they're bad and you're bad. Everyone's bad. Okay, there's no one good in the game. So yeah. It kind of makes the game go forward and longer.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look for another engage, I guess.
Sure. I mean, it's probably gonna. So far, it feels like HeRoMaRiNE's being punished every time he tries to do anything, though.
Yeah. No, he's slapped down absolutely everything so far. And I mean, it would be a different episode where we go into what HeRoMaRiNE could have done better, but okay. Yeah. So I mean,
again,
shoot,
very decisive.
Ah! Sorry.
Like, this fight's not even going poorly.
Look at that.
But he just backs
Once
up.
again,
Like,
as soon
possible.
as he gets to the end of the creep, he lost. What did he lose? This much ramp of creep? Like the creep was to here before?
Yeah, and
that's
that was
how
killed
far
earlier, too, I think.
Jeez Louise. Do I even keep writing these down? It's like crazy. He pulls back.
I'm very curious if HeRoMaRiNE tried to pressure, like, the creep tumors up here, if he would hold this ramp. You know, like, if this ramp is, like, a point where he's like, okay, this is, like, you don't come up here. You know, like, this is my area. You know what I mean? He's like, yeah, I can push this down, and it can come back, but it's never going past this.
Well, it looks like he's going based on the unit tab for, like, a fluid push. Like, he only has one tank, right? Which means, oh, yeah, he's getting drilling claws and armor right now. So it looks like he's really focused on, like, Marine, Mine, Medevac, and then Marauder later on.
Yeah. I mean, I'm talking more about Serral, though.
Oh,
like
I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about if he took this.
No, like, okay, let's say he's been really, like, is this Serral's hard line of, like, I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'll take any engagement here because I don't want to lose this ramp. And then this is just like a hard wall, you know what I mean?
Well,
like, it can go down, but it's never going back up.
Well,
like, you know what I mean?
It's certainly one of the most defensible locations, right? Because it is the ramp. You can't really get flanked here either because of this, right? So it's like a single point of entry. Look at that. He's still got that lane down there. That's crazy. I feel like eventually I'm going to write a book on how to beat Serral.
And nobody's going to be able to do it.
No one's going to be able to do it, but I'm like, here in theory is how Serral would lose a game. You have to always have
Serral,
two Marines
Serral
walking around.
reads that book.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, shit.
And
then
he
patrols
like 7
4
lings?
Yeah. So that he beats the 2 Marines I told you to send, and
Yeah.
it turns into a metagame of stupid amounts of units.
A better book would be about Haas.
Yeah. Okay, so... But yeah, the thing is, even if he gets pushed back here, right? Okay, he loses this area. If he loses this high ground, this area gets lost very quickly.
Yeah,
because you can
I agree.
easily
Going
push
down
down
that ramp is a lot easier.
But you've got a large amount of surface area here, right?
Yeah, but
this
the
is still
immediate
doable.
Area around the ramp will be pushed by tanks or whatever if he's going
Instantly.
tanks.
Yeah,
Right.
like
if you put tank here, and just like sit your bio all around, good luck. You know, like this is like the most disgusting tank positioning ever. All of this creep gets cleared off, and then you have it's like an even worse no man's land here.
Yeah.
And once you control the middle as a Terran player, it's great. Like you can just do whatever you want. You could build a sensor tower. You could do whatever you want. You know. But yeah, it's just interesting. I wonder how the creep will go here, because it feels like he is prioritizing certain places with creep more than others.
Yeah. Well, I think that this area doesn't matter as much. Because if you look at all this green crap here,
both players are just like,
yeah, no one wants to go through there.
This doesn't exist.
Well, Lings and Banes really can't go through there, right?
Yeah, I'm just a little surprised HeRoMaRiNE doesn't use
and the
that
thing is,
more.
The initial engages were here, right? And then HeRoMaRiNE gave up on that, and he's not expanding over here, right? He's expanding down here. So this would wherever you're expanding from, like TVZ specifically against Ling Bane, like when you're going for Marines and mines and whatnot. You want to expand a lot of the times in the direction that you're pushing, because then your reinforcements guard the base.
Sure.
Because if he makes a command center here, Ling Bane can just run and fuck it up. It doesn't even matter if it's a planetary. Like you're not going to be able to defend it. But if all the engagements are right in front of your bases, this is impossible for Serral to attack. This is extremely hard to attack because he has all the engagements right in front. So yeah, I think that's why we're seeing all the battles here. HeRoMaRiNE wants the battles here. And so it kind of dictates where Serral has to defend. If HeRoMaRiNE decided he wanted to attack up here, I think Serral would be defending and countering.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we'd be seeing. And you see, he's like, okay, all the attacks are over here. He does have some units over here and stuff. If a command center goes up, I'm sure he'll hit it.
When I was playing Terran a lot, I wrote down notes on why I was losing games,
Mhm.
and I would write notes like better macro, lost to counterattacks. You know what I mean? Like I
Mhm.
had better macro than them, but the way I took my bases or the way I didn't build depots here or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
would kill me games, and that
Totally.
makes a lot of sense as a where my skill level is. Like it's 1,000 MMR difference.
Mm-hmm.
I should have better macro, but at the same time, just things that take a lot of games
Mm-hmm.
wasn't really there.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of those things of just like taking this base, sitting. Remember when I was talking about queens and links and like where they're sitting?
Mm.
It's almost the same thing with where you rally your army as a Terran player.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
rallying your army to defend both these ramps, like
Yeah.
putting it here, or like depots here, and then you know what I mean? Like just simple little things.
I
like
want to
that.
see where he has it rallied.
Yeah,
Okay, he has it rallied right here. That makes a lot of sense.
and he has a tank in the other spot too, so he's basically defended everything.
has a mine there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart stuff. Good stuff. I love it. All right.
All right, Serral vision again.
All right, let's keep going. All right, so Serral has backed up.
Starting to add on more gases. It's probably he almost built another ultra cavern.
Yeah.
Interesting. Throws down the spire.
Okay, I thought that was interesting what we just saw. Okay, one more. Okay, so he was engaging this. Let's go ahead and look.
Oh wait, this is what I was talking about, right?
Huh.
Like like defending this area with.
Did
creep.
I just do this too much? Did I just...
You went back to where we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay, so see, he defended here.
But he actually gave up the high ground. Kinda,
Yes,
which is
yes.
surprising to me.
Okay, so I think what I just saw was Serral pulled back into a more defensive position. He knows that nothing's going to come to this army right here, right? There's
Sure.
no way. The furthest HeRoMaRiNE should go is up here. And I think what he's doing here is macroing up and just kind of like stabilizing everything else. Let's take a look.
The only other thing I can think of too is because he's got this flank on the other side.
Yeah.
Is it's possible that he's sitting here and he's like, if the entire army is here, and if he does this, I'm going with this as a counter.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, like, I don't know why else you'd have this here. There has to be a counter, right? It feels strange that he'd just give this up, like this area, because I remember I was talking about its strategic importance and how
Yeah.
it would be really annoying if he lost that, and I'm sure Serral feels the same way. But at the same time, I think Serral, if you're going with everything at HeRoMaRiNE's going with everything, then you can counter with that army.
Well, let's look for a second, right? Let's watch Serral's screen where he jumps to. Okay, so he's going to engage this. Hold on. Get that a little bit faster. Runs away again.
Just focusing on macro.
Yeah, macroing.
This
Pulls
is
back.
strange.
But look, he's no.
He does
He's
have ultras on the
managing
way.
everything. He just managed everything. He hit all of his injects. He's producing.
I bet as soon as he's done, he goes back up too.
Yeah.
As soon as that spire
He's
gets
gonna.
thrown down.
Yep.
Yeah.
The
look at
spire
that.
goes down. So
as soon as the spire goes down, he's back to unit control. But it is surprising that he still hasn't immediately taken the high ground.
well, this is actually what I like about this.
Uh-huh.
Okay, the pullback, because he realizes like, okay, this is important, but what's more important? Nailing injects, making sure upgrades are on the way, making sure the drones are in the right places, getting your spire up. These are the things that are truly, truly important. Losing this is not the end of the game.
Sure.
So, excuse me. Thing is, if you leave this army up here and you go to do that, and then they kill this army and take this,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
the worst thing that
Sure.
can happen.
I
That's
agree.
losing
I
the
agree.
game for Serral.
I agree.
So the fact that he has gone home and just kind of dealt with everything.
Yeah. It's like he's like
And
allocating
now-
windows of the time of his time. You know what I mean?
I like to call this macro cycling in the late game.
Yeah.
Because when you get into the late game, managing what you're going to do in what order is really important. Because the thing is, you can sit there and micro your Marine medevac all day long. We've seen world champions
Yeah.
do that, right? Like you can do that all day. But at some point, it's actually more important to do things like get home and macro, make sure that you have your next tech
Of
route
course.
coming up and all that. Because he's already got the economy and everything. It's just he needs to stay on top of everything else. And I think that giving up that high ground for a moment, this is the mark of such a great player, right?
Right. Priorities.
Yeah.
I wonder if he has percentage, like his thoughts on how likely it would be that he gets attacked in certain places. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like a percentage chance. I know that's not really how it works, but you know what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if we could draw a map and have like red dots of like percentage of attacks and that kind of stuff.
No, I think he's got a good idea. That would come from playing a lot of games.
It's also possible that he just thought he could take that freely. Like, especially once Ultras come out, he could take that back.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And it might even be good for him if there's an army out here. Still, look at how it's spread. He's spread.
Look at that. He's taking everything now. He's crossed his T's and dotted his I's, and he's expanding. He's cleaning stuff up.
Too. Like, it looked like he was about to jump on that army in the bottom, but then he was just like, no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whoa! What was that?
Would have mine hit.
Okay. First mistake. You want to write that down?
I think he's all right. I think he's all right.
Mine kills half army?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, this feels like a really... Okay, I was going to say, this feels like a really bad fight. I wonder if how quickly he'd take... You know what I mean? I couldn't even finish my sentence before he returned. Okay, this also feels like a bad fight, though.
Is it?
It feels like it. I mean,
and then he wins it.
Kinda. I mean, that was a pretty even trade. This also feels kind of bad. I mean, like, he's winning the fights, don't get me wrong, but... but again, he's more decisive than, you know?
Yeah, he's instantly jumping upon this stuff.
Like,
look at this tiny little group. What are you doing here, Marine? What are those units doing? Nothing. That's what. Get out of here.
Ooh. Feels like HeRoMaRiNE's doing a really good job still, though. Like
dude, he's
somehow
strong.
He's catching Serral off guard. Like, Serral was not prepared for this, despite, like, how much we were praising Serral for being ready. You know what I mean? And if it was anybody else, this stuff would have to catch you off guard even more.
Dude, this is the regular speed. Oh, those mines are crazy.
Yeah, Ultras actually feel quite good. I know that's just completely contradicting what I was saying before, but in a passive game, it makes a lot of sense. Oh, look at that. I can't believe... This is the first attempted run-by the way, at 12 minutes, and somehow he finds a gap. Like, he doesn't attempt it at all beforehand. I'm wondering if there's, like, some thought on that. Like, you just assume, okay, before the 12-minute mark, it's probably just going to have defenses everywhere. And it was kind of true. Like, when we looked at the rally and we saw the tank, there was some mines here that are gone for some reason. They're not here anymore. There were, like, I wonder if at some point HeRoMaRiNE just like, okay, I'm not going to be run by. I'm just going to take some of these defenses away.
Yeah. Maybe it's just the game is picking up at this point.
Okay, I'm very curious. When do you think he moves that mine? When do you think he moves that mine?
Oh, I don't know.
If it's like 30 seconds to a minute from when he gets engaged, I'm going to be mind blown.
Okay, we'll jump up to there.
Okay. So it's already gone at this point. All right, let's go back and see what we got. Because whenever we checked, there was a mine here, right?
It might. Okay, there it is.
So 10 minutes, there's no run-bys ever happening. Like, it's not happening.
Hold on, though. He did have a small engagement there.
That's true.
Watch.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, it looks like HeRoMaRiNE actually wanted to extend his defense to here, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Like, his run-by defense was to be extended to this whole area. And then he just never replenished it? That's interesting. Oh, never mind. I'm wrong. He just wanted to attack with this.
Maybe.
No, maybe. I mean, he's out. He's out. He's out and about.
Suppose so.
Interesting. So I guess it could just be a coincidence.
Huh.
To be fair, this mine, isn't this the mine that does insane damage?
Oh, yeah,
too?
it is. It is. Yeah, that's a quality mine.
Oh
my God. Just crazy.
I love how he immediately replenishes the Banes he lost, too. Oh, another interesting thing. As soon as that mine is moved, this becomes the attack path. You know what I mean? Like, he's still pushing this side, but he went from not pushing this side at all to also pushing this side, like kind of parading through here.
I wonder if he is mixing it up right now and attacking two locations at once because of the addition of Ultras.
It's possible.
It's a little bit harder to split that type army, right?
It feels like that's actually worse, though. Once you have Ultras, it feels like you should not split as much because it just...
Yeah, the Ultras, you throw an Ultra into a group of Ling Bane.
It just never dies.
Yeah, it really does mess
The interesting
up.
thing is the only time we've actually seen him gain something, though, is when the Ultras were out, too.
Let me see
like
something.
when he killed this base.
I think HeRoMaRiNE just kind of hit his stride is what we're seeing here, because notice his production is off the hook. He's maxed out, and he's starting to add command centers, and he's on 4 bases.
Yep.
So I think that that's what we're seeing here and why he's starting to attack multiple locations. Because, I mean, he is on bio. It's like, do you need 120 supply of bio in one area for this?
I had an idea for an episode.
Not so much.
Wait.
Yeah.
Let my brain develop this idea. I know I'm a little slow.
Okay.
You know what would be really cool? If we had, say, HeRoMaRiNE somehow. Like, we had HeRoMaRiNE here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we took Scarlet, and we took Raynor, and we took Serral, or we took all these people, and we stopped the game at right now.
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes, 45 seconds. Tons of time left. Or when the Greater Spire finishes or whatever.
Okay.
And we play them all through HeRoMaRiNE again.
Yeah.
Maybe right around now. It would be really interesting to see how the games go. You know what I mean? You're basically given everything. You're given everything. You're given the 90 drones. You're given the creep spread. You're given all these bases.
So, like, who's best at late game, that type of thing?
How do you play it out, though? Like, because there are going to be people that will be more aggressive. There will be people that will just chill. Like, if you gave Sword of this game, it would be totally different than if you gave Scarlet this game.
Yeah.
It would be so interesting to see. Or I remember at one point I was like, I feel like I could win at this point.
Yeah.
Give it to me, too. Give it to whoever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It would be really interesting to see what you do with the tools you're given when Serral basically gives you everything you're supposed to have as a Zerg, right? Like, you're supposed to have 90 drones. You're supposed to have creep halfway through the map. Like, how much of his win is based off of the early game advantages he gives himself is basically it.
Oh, well, I think that is a huge part, but I think he also just makes great decisions all game long.
It's true.
Which is part of what we're kind of watching here, right?
But, like, someone like Raynor or Serral or Scarlet could also do that. So, what distinguishes it? It would just be an interesting episode if we could ever make it happen. Because I think it could be possible if we with Juan and some Zergs at our house.
We didn't even notice that wasn't on.
Okay, let's
continue.
continue.
No, I mean, stuff
now
like
that
that
my thought is developed.
Yeah.
Can no regrets stay on topic. Man, that's the whole point of the show. We do what we want.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so hold on. Let's go back to Serral's vision. We did see this okay.
So at this point, I started feeling that these engagements were a bit less Serral-like. You know, like they were a little bit more HeRoMaRiNE favored. Like, this fight here does not feel good. He's traded how many Banes for, what was that, like 15 Marines? That Ultra was doing some weird shit.
Yeah, that's
Look at it.
That happens sometimes.
It's sliding.
Was
it a replay?
I don't know if it's just replays. It used to happen in Heroes of the Storm a lot.
That's so weird.
Where certain like heroes would freeze on their animation. It would just look silly, and they just like move across the map. Like, watch. See?
Nice game, Blood. Nice
That's
game.
sick. I love that. That's awesome.
That should just be how the Ultra walks. Just floats.
I forget what caused it, but I knew it back in the day. Okay. All right, so we did see that.
It's kind of interesting how Serral was way out of position for this army. I'm kind of interested. Let's go back and see.
Okay.
Let's see why was Serral way out of position for this.
Excuse me.
Where did this army go? Because at some points,
so
this was here.
Yeah.
And you're not breaking this anymore.
So I think HeRoMaRiNE is hitting up here, right? So
do you think he shifts because he thinks the entire army is up there? Because like, no, we fight here.
He does this fight, and he actually does better on this fight than the fight at the top, I guess.
This fight still feels kind of bad though. Like not terrible, but still, like those trades were not great.
This ice skating Ultralisk says otherwise. Well, he kills the army, right?
Sure.
And the thing is, he's like remaxing and he's making his comp slightly better during this. Like he's adding some extra ultras in there. The Lings are pretty expendable, right? He's got 90 drones. Damn.
Kinda, yeah.
All right, so this group is running away. He cleared this whole army though. There's 4 medevacs
Where's
left.
that running away to? Let's see that.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh.
Still wants to fight some.
Does he want to fight some, or was he just clicking that back? Okay. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. So this is what it is. What's here to defend anymore?
Yeah, very little.
Right.
So he has to use the
bring
rest of his army.
He has to
clear
bring
that.
this up to make sure, because it could also be more. Like, we're not 100% sure. He has, like, if Serral knew this was all, there's no way he'd rotate with everything. Look at how decisive HeRoMaRiNE is too. Immediately.
Yeah.
That's a really good on HeRoMaRiNE. So this little fight going kind of okay for HeRoMaRiNE gets him this base.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting.
Yeah, isn't that?
Because if this was crushed, this army would be here. This base would never be dead. So interesting. All right, let's keep following Serral. So
Okay,
Serral's returning army is starting to
he
funnel
sends
in.
enough, picks out.
I'm amazed he doesn't immediately go back. You know, like this
He
is
still
Serral.
doesn't know if anything else is coming here, though.
That's true.
He might be boosting back just 2 centimeters.
Okay,
And
now he
now
does
that
it.
hits. Right? And now
Yeah.
all the units are coming down real quick.
He gives up too. It's so cool that he gives up because he already knows it's dead.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's just so decisive. Like I would just keep going. You know? I would
Oh,
keep
you mean
going down
attack
here.
move down?
No, like look at
Because he clicked over here.
Yeah, he clicked over here.
Yeah.
Because he already knows this base is dead.
Yeah.
Like there's no way he
Well, he
can
wants
defend
his units together for a better engage there because he's still going to
it. Right.
get in.
He picks up. Interesting. Oh my god. It's interesting that someone of Serral's abilities and like map awareness still gets punished by mines.
Ooh, that was an important moment right there. Well, yeah, you can't see him, right? Okay, I want to look at this real quick, right? So he's pushing this down.
Mm-hmm.
Now watch this.
What am I watching?
Well, he's running away from an engagement right now. And it looks like this is the same moment where he's sending this. So, oh my god. Okay, so you were asking before, when does this Widow Mine get removed? Why are we seeing this counterattack now?
Mhm.
I think that we're figuring it out, right?
Because
he had a
of
group up
medevacs?
here. Yeah. You see this?
Yeah. That's such
This
an-
is his whole army.
that's true.
Like, his whole army has to be over
no,
here.
you're right.
You don't
You're totally right.
right? The medevac
As a
count
Zerg
is so
player,
high.
if I see that medevac count, I'm like, that's every medevac.
That's everything.
like because you've stopped medevacs at this point. Look,
Yeah.
he stopped medevacs.
Yeah.
and all the
let's
medevacs
just
are
check.
here.
13.
Holy shit!
So it's
I've
not
never
exactly,
thought of this
but
before.
Yeah, it's you see this many, and I think that has something to do with it here.
It's possible because he doesn't attempt it even. He doesn't even attempt it earlier.
You know, he's running away. He's only seeing this tiny bit of units, but like this many medevacs doesn't come for this many units. It doesn't make sense. So he knows there's a
And
ton
also,
of units here.
he pushed through this whole attack path too, right? Like this whole attack path has been cleared all the way up to this point.
Yep.
That means that in theory his rally is probably further down too. It's not here.
Yeah,
Alright,
he's still
never mind.
rallying the same place,
Where are the other?
which I think is fine anyways. They're mostly in the main, but there's 3 outside.
Well, I'm super interested. Okay, they're all rallied here, but the Marines and stuff are coming.
Well, I think he's probably just utilizing F2 or something and just getting his whole army into
Well,
the
that's
battle.
also something, right? Every medevac is here.
Yeah. And see, it is the whole army coming. So he instantly runs away. And this is just such a good move, right? You're instantly running away. This isn't going to make it, obviously. But you're running away, and you're counterattacking at the other side at the same time. Because you know he's bringing his full army.
I
and
bet
then
as soon as a successful counterattack comes out, he pushes back again.
Oh,
on this
absolutely.
side, too.
I think what's going to happen is he's going to run up here, make sure he has some banelings mixed in and everything, gather his entire army, and if HeRoMaRiNE comes down this ramp, he's going to lose his whole army. Or he's going to lose the engage.
I wonder how far back he actually goes, because I think he actually wants to.
Right, so
Well,
starts engage.
This makes a lot of sense though too, because he's counterattacking. This makes a lot of sense. Like, what is HeRoMaRiNE doing in his main right now? It's getting run by.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought for sure he was going to run all the way back and
I
have
thought he
HeRoMaRiNE
was going to
chase
take
him.
like a stutter step, you know, like run
That's
back
interesting.
and then attack immediately.
Do you think
but
that this is?
I think this is the right call.
Do you think that this is
Assuming this does well.
this engage? You think this is good?
Assuming
Look at
this
Serral's
does
bank
well,
right now. Look at Serral's bank.
I don't like it, but if he trades out for all of this and he saves the 3 ultras, then it's fine.
Okay, if he saves the ultras, then that's
Yeah.
a different scenario.
And I think he does try to save them.
All right, let's see. Let's see.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, he turns.
He gets every
saves them.
ultra out.
Yeah.
And this is doing really well. Okay, so here's my thoughts too. If you
Yeah.
save every ultra, you're not getting countered. You know what I mean?
Mm.
All 4 ultras survive. I don't know how many queens he has with transfuses, but even if as long as they have moderate okay HP, they can defend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with lings. And this counterattack's doing
Yeah. The counterattack is really
proper
great.
work. So now he has to respect this. I wonder if we see a counter again, or not a counter, but like an attack. I think if this wasn't a planetary, you would, but yeah. Look at this. This is the most annoying shit ever as a
Yeah.
Terran. Okay, so we do see that. It's just slow. I love this. This is so great.
Mm.
If he had the gas to do it, I bet he would do a Baneling bust on this.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that he's getting a Nidus.
Yeah.
And the really heavy Ling right now, I like that very, very much.
Not a huge fan of the heavy Ling, but it makes sense.
Well, I like it because it tanks into the Marauders well. This engage, I don't like.
I don't like it at all. Even this Ultra's blocking it. I mean, like I said, it's totally worth if you run the Banes into the Planetary, but this felt like it could have been way better.
No, this wasn't a good engagement. There's no way. That was not
the only
a good
thing I like is
engagement.
the killing the Planetary. Remember, like I said,
I think that's actually bad. I think that what he just did, I don't think that this...
to be fair,
let's look at it again.
It doesn't make much sense anyways because there's literally 2 orbitals sitting next to the Planetary you
Yeah,
kill.
exactly,
So you
right?
can just lift it and land it in the same spot.
Yeah. So you're not, like... Yeah, maybe you get some SCVs and stuff. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Because his bank is very, very low. Yes, he's maxed out. I think it's good to put some pressure on. I like getting in here and picking off
He's
some
even
units.
running a Nidus too, so it's...
I don't think Ultras are a finishing unit,
Wait,
and I will stand by that forever.
Does he unburrow the Lings at the Nat at the same time?
Oh, I don't know. He should. But
If he does, then there's a tiny, tiny thing that makes a little bit of sense as to why this
okay,
fight
so
would go
this
so
part of
badly.
the engage I really like.
What is he looking at right now?
Oop.
Oh, he's looking at this fight.
Yeah.
Keep watching his camera. Because at some point, this goes very poorly. Okay, he does unburrow the Lynx.
Okay, yeah, no,
Makes
that's
a
good.
tiny, tiny bit of sense now. And he's still trading.
I think this engage, though, into a planetary with Ultras, with all these buildings in the way, you can see the Ultras having a little bit of a hard time fighting.
Is it possible that he's playing with that same rule I was talking about, like as long as the Ultras get out, it's okay rule?
Like, it could be.
You know what I mean? Let's see if he saves all the Ultras. I think he does lose these 2 on the top right. Or loses
Yeah,
one
it seems
for sure.
like there's enough here to kill these.
Okay, he is not playing with that as long as I save the Ultras rule. This is just a terrible engage. I mean, there's no... how does the Ling thing do?
Yeah, this didn't seem
Are
that
we still
good.
following his camera?
Yeah, we were.
When did we stop? Like right now? Was he literally watching that the whole time? He's still watching it. I mean, he's getting damage.
So, I really like the unburrow, but I think overall this engagement was not quite right. Now, he has so many bases that this might get into that range where we talked about it before with Mario vs. Scarlet.
Look at the time.
Yeah. I think that kind of proves that this engagement wasn't that good.
Yeah.
But
look at the army supplies too.
Well, here's the real problem. Look at the actual army, right?
Yeah.
He gave his entire army
and there's just
to kill 9 SCVs
and
in
the
a
command center is
planetary.
just going to lift and land in the same spot.
Yeah, so the economy is still the same. Now, the Ling counterattack is actually the thing is killing a lot here.
I think it's coupled with that, though. Like, think about it. If we did not have that Ling counterattack, there's no way in hell Serral takes that fight, right?
No, I think he was going to, but I mean,
Without
obviously
the
the
Ling
Ling.
like, imagine it doesn't exist at all. There's no Lings in the main. I don't think he takes the fight.
No, I think he was going to. I do.
There's no way.
Well,
because
we can try to ask him.
I think he sees that there's guaranteed damage with the Ling harass, especially with the attack. Because there's no way HeRoMaRiNE doesn't pay full attention to the attack. I think that's how he's looking at it. Because there's no way in hell you see that fight and you're like, okay, if I kill the planetary and I trade my army for it, it's okay.
His army was big and scary, and he had a lot of Banes, and like it was obvious he could kill the planetary.
No.
But when you're going Ling Bane, like you have to be so careful about every time you have it engaged, you lose everything. Now Ultras are the thing that are supposed to fix that. But
aggressive Ultras
when
is
you
also
throw
a rule for
Zergs,
though.
Don't attack. I don't think that people should attack with Ultras.
No, they
now
should. He also knows that.
I'm a huge proponent of Ultras, but like Ultras are a defensive unit. This attack in here was so inefficient.
With the Lings and
the Lings,
possibility. Like
the Lings
are essential. I don't think you ever take
you
this fight without it.
the Lings to do almost exactly the same with half as much of an engagement.
I agree.
With half as much.
I agree.
Yeah. So
But
attack in here at the beginning that we saw and pull away. So I
Sure.
would say that this was a lost engagement.
No, this is a really bad engage. But
Like-
my point is, I think the only thing that makes a little bit of sense is if you couple the guaranteed damage with the Ling run by or the Ling harass with this as one thing, then maybe it makes a little bit of sense to stay in it. I still think this is very bad in hindsight. I think as well Serral would not have done this if he'd known this was how the fight was going to be in hindsight. But 2020.
Well, now he's got to rebuild
hindsight
everything.
is 2020.
Yeah. All right, let's see.
Like, it's doing great still, kinda.
It's almost over, but I mean, he got good. The Lings did amazing. Lings did
At
amazing.
this
But
point,
to
we're
lose
evened
all the
out.
rest of that,
we've evened out. Like, there's still 2 command centers down there. Like, if anything, HeRoMaRiNE is getting way better into the deal there.
Well, the thing is, if Serral buys enough time as well, let's not forget like tempo advantages. We talked about this with Scarlet versus Mario on that King's Cove game, where it's like, yeah, some of these attacks can be wasteful, but sometimes when you have the right type of advantage, they can be
counter
good.
in the bottom left. It's also possible he saw the value of getting rid of a planetary down there too.
For harassment purposes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, certainly anytime you're going after a planetary, that's something you have to think of, I think.
I'm curious if one of those wasn't an orbital, if you would have played it differently. Because it gets lifted, landed, and then turned into another planetary. Like, even this fight is actually quite scary for Serral.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
yeah,
with
you're
the
going
Liberators
to
mixed
win
in.
this fight, but like, this is not an efficient trade.
No.
All these Banes are dead. There's no Ling support here. This Ultra's going to die.
This Ultra's exploding, yeah.
Like, this is actually a very scary fight. I've lost games where I have huge edges in supply just based off of, like, a scary, like, Marauder thing where I don't have enough Lings to support it. Like, watch this army. Look at it. Watch it disappear, guys. It just disappears.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at that. That was a beautiful, absolutely beautiful fight. That would have never happened if Serral actually didn't fight like he did earlier.
Yeah, if he hadn't fought down there.
The only thing, 28 SCVs. If this 28 SCVs didn't die, I think Serral actually loses this game.
Is that 40 SCVs still? He's got a decent number of planetaries. What's he got? He's got 4 planetaries? 5 planetaries. I mean, not 5 orbitals. So, I mean, he's got good mule counts.
So look at the bank. Actually, how does Serral win in this position?
Well, he does have...
It has to be the damage. There's nothing else.
Yeah, it's this counterattack damage. The thing is, I think that was almost a game-losing move, and he was in just good enough a position to come back. I guess we'll have to keep watching.
Too, like, if this did not happen, he would lose the game here.
Yeah, all these little harassments put together are really saving him,
look at this fight. Like, this army is so scary. Imagine he's just pushing across the map right now, and this base is fully saturated. Like, there's no way you win. Maybe this still happens, but this is not scary. This is bad. This is the bad part. 28 SCVs dying here.
All right, let's check Serral cam.
Yeah, watch Serral's cam. From the rest of this position, like, this is actually still really scary despite the damage. So, despite the damage happening, this is still really scary for Serral. And
his anti-air is really
I like how he pulls all his
queens.
queens.
He's only got 5 queens. Well, he needs them now. He has to have them.
Ooh. This feels ambitious from HeRoMaRiNE.
Yeah, that's a little bit too much.
Yeah, and he pulls them back. This was actually a bit of over-eagerness here. Does he pick up his whole army? 19 drones go down.
Yeah, it's just from that base that you just lost. And look at that. HeRoMaRiNE is actually getting out with his valuable units.
Look at that. Look at the supply. I think if there wasn't 95 drones, what's the drone count to SCV? It's
76
to
39.
If the SCV count was more even, and he did the exact same thing he just did, the game would be over.
I think
there's no Greater Spire either. So
no, there's not.
Look at how many medevacs it is.
He only got +1 there.
This is still scary. What? I'm amazed he's taking this fight, but it is going quite well. This side does not have enough medevacs. And he's going through the greens.
Wait, does green slow ultras? Because they're supposed to not be able to be slowed, right?
Really?
Yeah, like Marauder shells don't slow
Look at that was such a good fight.
Yeah.
And these medevacs are going to kill this entire army. But, oh man, if this was still a planetary, the Lings would have not done anything.
Yeah.
This Baneling run by would also do nothing because you can just pull the SCVs away. Like, the fact that this is not a planetary changed the game so hard.
Yeah, well, I mean, he gave his entire army and then a base and a bunch of drones and then another army to be able to do that, right? So, I mean, thank God he got something out of it.
Do you think you value the planetary that highly, though?
No. I think that Serral made a mistake. I mean, he's the best player in the world. That doesn't mean he is flawless. That is for sure.
No, I agree.
And I think that was definitely a mistake.
And he's getting the best
all these
of it.
other things that he's done this game have been just enough to get him through this.
Yeah. He's getting the best of what advantage he gave himself, I guess. Like, he threw the whole army away, but he's been able to utilize the planetary's death to value. So I think the game would actually just be over right now if it wasn't for that. And even now, he still took some really questionable fights. If HeRoMaRiNE's economy was just even slightly, like it's what
he's going to run out of mineral patches too, unfortunately.
26 to 79.
Yeah.
If the economy was even remotely comparable, this game would be over.
By the way, I do want to throw out that one thing I really like about Dark's play when he plays this type of style is he'll throw in like a few Vipers or possibly Corruptors earlier, but like he really utilizes Parasitic Bomb on the medevacs a lot, which I feel like we're on 13 medevacs, right? If you were just parasitic bombing 2 of those every time that you saw them,
right.
it makes a gigantic difference, which I would
These
have
run
liked to see
bys
here.
are relentless. I think one thing we can take away from is as soon as Serral deems an army not necessarily killable head-to-head, he goes for run bys immediately.
Yeah, that is a very good point, because if you like, obviously he can't fully engage a lot of these armies, and when he has, he's actually been losing engagements, which is super funny because we perceived coming in that he wins all of his engagements, right?
Right.
And obviously this is HeRoMaRiNE and stuff, but
to be fair, he was winning every engagement up until the point where he lost his entire army.
yeah. Well, that was an engagement as well, right? He decided to attack into a ridiculous choke point with the Planetary and Marauders with Ultras.
The one thing without question, he's been incredibly decisive.
Yes.
Even to some faults at some points in this game. Like you said before, he's decisive even over like the quality of his engagements. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at this is a scary game. I'm amazed he actually wins this game.
Yeah.
95 supply to 115. Like the army is knocking on the door. The Marauders or Ultras are dead. This is big to kill those. It's just like drones, man.
Thank God he has those.
I think if you're HeRoMaRiNE, you're kicking yourself because you think you could win this game.
Oh, absolutely.
Just a little bit. He only had to change a little bit.
My God, look at that Ling.
Look at the fact that he's controlling it still.
Well, this is becoming so scrappy.
It goes on. Look at the time of the game.
I don't know how. Well, I guess that's how long it would take to kill
win this
HeRoMaRiNe
game
at
if
this
you're
point.
Serral, yeah. 88 supply to 108. And 88. How many drones does he have?
58. That's funny.
So what, he's got like 20 supply of Ling Bane.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Less even.
How do you win this game if you're Serral? I mean, the counterattacks are so good. Look at, he's still counterattacking with even such small numbers, right? Like 4 Lings.
Hmm.
Still getting Ultras out. Oh, man.
Thank God he has some corruptors, though, seriously.
I bet if we were the interviewers, Serral would say he thought he lost this game, too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, this fight could possibly be the game changer one. Oh, even losing these 2 Ultras is still huge, though.
Hmm. Looks like he has just enough. Maybe his corruptors get in and do something.
They're gonna have many backs. Oh my God. Some medevacs remind me of like a school of fish, where they're like, well, we have enough numbers. Like even if half of us die, we can repopulate.
There's that swarm host.
That's the mistake.
There's some sort of code that when Zergs make that.
You know what I love? When the Zergs just immediately kill it.
I think that there's some sort of code. I don't know how you don't know this is a Zerg. Like, how don't you know? Everyone agreed to do this, except you.
Swarm host?
Yeah, it's like when you think you've won the game or something, you make the swarm host.
No, he does not think he won this game. Looking at this, I think I'm losing still if I'm Serral. There's
Yeah,
no way Serral looks at this as like, I'm winning this game. I got to build a swarm host.
I think he knew after that last engage. I think he knew that he won. Because HeRoMaRiNE is going to run out of minerals. Like, it's crazy.
There's no way you assess this and you're like, I'm winning this game right now.
Maybe you're right.
As he's retreating his Ultras. Ferociously retreating his
so
Ultras.
why did he make the swarm host then?
Accident. Every Zerg player
Every
does
Zerg does it every game?
Every Zerg
and it's
does
an accident?
Every Zerg does
So
it.
every Zerg player's an idiot then.
Unbind it. Do you think it's
You're
like
making an extra swarm host in every game?
Do you think it's like a BM swarm host? You just build it and like shoot out.
I think it's a signal. I think it's silent signaling. It's dog whistling to the other Zerg
Zergs
players.
are dog whistling to each other with swarm host production.
Yes.
You're right. They make
100%. It's just like the single G. I'm telling you, there's stuff going on in StarCraft that nobody talks about, and I'm here to tell you about it.
All right, I'll message Serral asking him, hey, did you build the swarm host as a signal to the other Zergs? One swarm host means...
It's some sort of meme thing that they do.
Where is the swarm host? Did he kill it immediately?
I guess he killed it.
Wait, we've got time. Let's go back and see what happens with that swarm host. Does he just immediately kill it or does he get suicided by accident? Okay, here's the swarm host.
Yeah, just follow him. Where's he going? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where is it? He was using it for vision.
He's using it for a scout.
All right, let's watch this game. He was gonna use it as a scout, guys. What is it? 100, 200, or what? How much does a swarm host cost?
Isn't it
175
like
something? I don't know. Too much
like
to be a scout.
150,
anyways.
75, right? Wait, we can actually just check.
Is it
150,
actually that
75,
cheap?
I think.
Click on an egg.
Tell me how much you think it is.
175, 100.
175.
It's so cheap.
At least I got the gas right. That's crazy. That's only 100 minerals.
I thought it was more minerals.
How
That's
does
so
Zerg
cheap.
ever lose a turn? Oh, I'm sorry, they don't. Okay.
Well, we don't build swarm hosts because they're terrible. Unless you accidentally build it and use it as a scout.
Dog whistling.
You'd make a great interviewer. So, is that swarm host a dog whistle to the other Zergs in the tournament? Like, one swarm host means you should do this strategy against HeRoMaRiNE, guys. Two
Do you
swarm
make that
hosts-
swarm host when you figured that you're going to win the game and you and Lambo just nod at each other? You don't even, it's not even spoken.
What if he's like, his boys have bets on him, and they're like at certain points, if you build a swarm host here, it's like, I'm going to end the game in like 5 minutes from now or something. Like, oh, God.
This has been such an interesting game because we saw like perfect engagements for so long, and then
It got
one
real
kind
scrappy.
of throwy attack that made a bunch of lost engagements in very difficult plays.
Wait, so do you think this gives credit to what I was saying earlier, though?
What?
That like he just has more stuff in a lot of these fights?
No.
Because once he starts taking really decisive fights with less stuff, he just starts losing. Like, this was good, but before, like, I think at this point his economy's kind of gotten the better of him, right? But, like, for a long point here, it was really scary.
Yeah, no, it was very scary for a long time.
All right, do you want to continue with engagement specific, or do you want to continue with like, the Haas looking at scouting stuff?
To be honest, I kind of want to check another HeRoMaRiNE game.
Sure.
Because I feel like we can find a pattern just within these 3 games.
I agree.
You know what I
But
mean?
I feel like we've already found a pattern in the first game, even.
Well, we actually learned a lot of very cool stuff there.
Okay, so we should have wrote down the turning point where all the engagements. It's kind of scrappy.
Well, the thing is, it was specifically after that kind of throwy attack with the ultras, and I wonder maybe this is
30 minutes. This one. 30 minutes.
damn crazy. Wait, did we have to load that last one too? Yeah, we did. Okay.
Damn. By the way, we did not chill out. We were going to. You guys can support us on Patreon. We have a goal. If we get $500 a month, we're going to be doing an offline show at our house with pro gamers. We might do eye tracker stuff. We'll do like pro gamer specific things. We'll be able to ask them questions about what they're doing, what they're thinking. It'll be extremely insightful. We've got players like Scarlet, Special, Estrella, up-and-coming Americans. It'll be really great for the show. So feel free to support us on Patreon over at patreon.com/indepthsc2.
Excellent. Definitely do it. We have we've been planning on doing some episodes like that for quite some time.
Yeah, and
Very
it's much
excited to get that done.
more doable now because I live 30 minutes away instead of an hour and a half
You didn't
away.
move the house yet, right?
We move tomorrow. Well, we don't move fully, but we sign for everything tomorrow.
Nice.
So we'll have full access to the house tomorrow.
Excellent.
Estrella is in Korea right now. All right.
So we got to get up to some engagements. Do you think he's going to go for the Ling Bane and Ultra style again here?
Yep.
Even after how hard that game was?
I think it's even better on this map too.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
So
It looks like, I mean, just off the top of my head, it kind of looks that way. The green zones are not fantastic for
for
Ling Bane.
ultras too. Like, yeah.
Do they actually slow ultras?
I don't know. I actually don't know.
Because they have that stupid thing, what's it called, Frenzy or something? Like, doesn't even make sense what it's called.
Frenzy stops fungals. I know that.
Yeah, and it stops concussive as well.
But this
And I think it
feel
stops
like
time warp even. I'm pretty
That's it?
sure.
This is a great question. So I have no idea actually.
Yeah.
I don't make ultras.
You should, though.
Apparently.
They're good stuff. I actually, I mean, if that game is what every Serral Ultra game looks like, then I think he's much stronger with the Broodlord Infester.
I agree.
I'm interested to see, though. I want to see him do it again, is kind of why I want to stay on this series. Okay, so it's actually going to be a BC opener.
Core? That's
Yeah.
fine, though. You still open with Ling Bane.
Yeah, you can.
But
you
you're less
won't-
likely to go Ultra.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, it's much less likely at that point. I would say.
I mean, it's because of Spire is a natural progression. You just have vision of it, or no? Was it in the NAT?
Let's check.
The Fusion Core, or was it on the map? NAT? There it is.
Yeah, he's seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roach Warren immediately, by the way.
Yeah, I think you want that, though.
Yeah, I think most of the time it's mech, but even if it's bio, like your engineering bays are quite slow.
Yeah. Who were we looking at last week that we saw? Wait, did we see ZVT last week? Wait, no, this was a GSL match I'm thinking of right now, where it was like, maybe it was Ragnarok or maybe it was like Rogue or something, but it was even this map. It was against BC play, and he did the like Roach Corruptor stuff, and just got enough drones. He didn't attack as early as some people have been attacking with it, and it looked amazing against BC. So I'm kind of hoping to see that. Okay, so it
here's
is
another
mech.
thing too. When you go roaches, you can build like 1 million drones if they're mech. You know,
Yes.
like you build like those 6, 7 roaches or whatever. I think we talked about this before, and then you just build 100 million drones. But with the fact that there's no 4th base up already, it's a little surprising to me. But
I think you probably try to
you should
stabilize
take
here.
it like now-ish.
Get your Roach speed going. Get your 4th.
So Overseer.
I am
He's
expecting
so
that 4th. now.
vigilant. Yeah, the 4th should have already been on the way, honestly. Oh, I guess he's prepping for BC too, though.
It's a lot of Hellions.
Yeah. I mean, it's great when they do like Ling Queen, which is pretty common as well. It's like a 50-50, I think, on the Ling Queen versus depends on the player. Like someone like Raynor, I would expect more to be going like the Ling Queen style. But
I actually like the Roach just because of the way that Zergs are starting to play the Roach Corruptor against BC play.
yeah,
And I think that we're going to see this from Serral. Like, he's playing a very careful game here. Let's look at the drone count,
the
64.
fact that the 4th is this late is interesting. To
I
me.
think it's all right because this is such a harassment-based play from HeRoMaRiNE that what he needs to do is make sure he doesn't take damage. That is the number one thing. If you take damage early against these BC plays, you really get in trouble.
Yeah, I really like HeRoMaRiNE's
But
positioning though. HeRoMaRiNE feels really good in this position. Like he's built roaches, which we would consider pretty bad in most cases. I mean, they're nice to deal with the Hellions. His 4th base isn't even started yet,
But
and my 3rd is landed. I don't feel like I'm going to get countered anytime soon because he's not going Lings. It's mostly roaches.
I think the metagame, though, is past what HeRoMaRiNE is doing, which is why I actually like what Serral's doing, right? So I think if Serral makes enough roaches that the Hellions do nothing, and you've committed this much to Hellions, look at this. He's got 10 Hellions right now, and he's lost a few of them, right? So almost all of his factory build time has been on Hellions. So his actual units, right? He has nothing other than harassment units.
Right.
That's it. A battle cruiser, 10 Hellions, another battle cruiser on the way, more Hellions on the way. He is getting tech labs, so I'm sure these will get into... Well, it could be Cyclones, it could be Sea Shanks.
Yeah.
But what I've...
Could also be Thor's.
Oh my god, if he goes Thor's, I don't even know, man. But I think it might be Cyclones. That's a little bit more modern right now, I think, because you need them against the Corruptors. But the thing is, look at this. Perfect drone saturation all over the place for Serral. Taking his 4th base a little bit more slowly.
Yeah.
And I think that what we're going to see is like 70 drones, maybe a little bit more, into Corruptor Roach Ravager. And he is going to go and start attacking.
Sure.
All right, let's...
This does go 3 games. This is a best of 5
Yeah.
for people in chat.
It always had to go 3.
So Cyclones, we don't see
Yeah,
that, but
Cyclones. Yeah.
That's a pretty big assumption. That's a pretty normal assumption.
Yeah, for right now, because people are going Corruptors. The Sea Shanks just don't hit Corruptors, so you can't stop your BCs from dying, basically, if you don't have Cyclones.
Those 4 Hellions are great. From HeRoMaRiNE.
Yeah, he's blocking everything really, really well.
So many queens. Yeah, we're at the point where we're not going to die to anything, so we probably should see a drone explosion. Is this a big mistake? Okay, never mind. So
Well, let's see if he goes drones or he goes Corruptors.
3 overlords, so probably not drones. Oh, it's drones. Okay.
Okay. And that's going to bring him up. Oh, wow, a lot of drones. Going to be at 78.
Yeah, I would go all the way up to like 80 something.
Yeah, I think that's good.
You don't need to worry about dying for at least the moment.
Yeah, the amount of Hellions that have been made, again, it's only harassment forces.
Yeah.
Thing is, the fourth base is a
too.
little bit... It seems like the fourth base could be attacked.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, the thing
Like
is,
harassed.
it'll never be killed, right?
Yeah,
it
no,
could
it would be harassment specifically.
Yes.
So I find it interesting where his roaches are placed, but I like it. Good goop.
I would have also gooped the tech lab, but that's... Or the factory. Serral wants to defend somewhere. Where does he want to defend? Do you think that tells us anything?
What, that he... No,
Like,
it's just
like,
a
no,
hockey
but like
error.
the hockey error is like... There was clearly a hockey error with the
Yeah.
Swarm Host, too. Does that mean he's playing faster than his...
Oh, he's going into Swarmhost. That I really did not expect here. That is not how a Korean would play this.
Yeah, I also getting upgrades for both. So
I like attack
Ling.
upgrades. Carapace upgrades are stupid. It's mech.
Yeah.
But look, oh, that's interesting. That's yeah. No wonder this is a 30-minute game. As soon as you see those 6 swarm hosts made, and those aren't by accident, that's not dog whistling. That's a real strat.
Are you sure this isn't a dog? What if the first game was a dog whistle that he's going to build Swarm Host the second game?
No. But yeah, as soon as you see that, it seems like this is going to be a very, very long game because you have to eke out damage over time with Swarm Hosts. I thought that he might do this newer kind of super aggressive high drone Corruptor Roach Ravager thing.
Like trading?
Yeah, well, you start really pushing, and the BCs have to get very defensive and jump away from Corruptors really regularly.
Tanks and stuff too, cause
yeah, you spot tanks that are on high ground and bile them and stuff like that. But okay, let's look for some engagements.
Chat has another hypothesis. He
Oh,
found
yeah?
the value of Swarm Host in game 1, so he make it
Oh,
game
yeah.
2.
That's it.
What if
Thank
he
you,
just like
chat.
spreads them all out?
Mm.
Spotters. Now that
That's
I would
funny.
say is a
Yeah.
dog whistle.
Yeah.
If he started using
You
Swarm
clowning?
Hosts, yeah, as overlords, now that would be great. And we're out of here. I like how he doesn't even bother to take damage on the second one.
Mm.
I thought would be a really interesting nerf is if the repair of something costs the same as it producing it. You know what I mean?
That sounds terrible.
I know.
Repairing takes so much to do.
What do you mean?
Well, you got to pull your SCVs off already, right?
Sure.
You have to get them underneath it. The unit's out of commission during that time.
The unit is out of commission.
Yeah.
You know games I've played where they just have one battlecruiser and all the
Yeah,
SCVs are
that's
sitting
true.
underneath repairing it
fair.
as it kills everything.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But no, I mean obviously completely unsensible. But I would be
I don't think BCs are an issue right now.
no. It has nothing to do with it. Like actual like thinking about it. I'm thinking of it as like then Terrans would have to think more before they just engage.
Mm.
Like I'm not saying it's actually a good nerf, but my thoughts were the fact that they just go in with the BCs and then they teleport out. They go in. Like you'd
Yeah.
actually have to think a lot about like, do I want to take damage on this BC now?
Mhm.
Because it would be worth it to not.
Oh, I
take
think,
the damage
by
on
the
the
way, yeah, I had some more thoughts about this while casting GSL, where once they hit a certain corruptor count, I don't know the exact number right now, I think what you're supposed to do with BCs is hit your mottos and instant jump out.
Sure.
Because damaging a corruptor and then jumping home,
Having it peel up or whatever.
yeah, because
Yeah.
the corruptor actually won't die from that.
This is
so
also
like
what I was
just
thinking along
damaging
the
it
lines of,
makes
right?
no sense.
Exactly.
And the repair time that costs you and the repair money that costs you is more than what you're costing them.
Yeah.
For the lightest micro effort, it's so easy to pull back a corruptor.
Well,
So I think
at
you
some
should
point we do
Yamato
see that,
and
right?
get out.
Like they shift Yamato and then shift blink out. So as soon as Yamato finishes, they're gone.
Yeah,
A
no,
lot
that's
of people do. I think Juan
I
was
see a
really
lot
good
of
at
people
doing
that are like,
There
I'm
are.
going to try to kill a corruptor,
There
and
are a
then
lot of people that
yeah,
do
they
that,
just
yeah.
sit there and it doesn't work.
Okay, so looking at engagements on this in this game, I think is very
When are
different.
Yeah, it's so different.
Okay, like this is obviously just an engagement you take.
Yeah.
Like there'd never be a time you don't
Well,
take that.
yeah, he's kind of pulling him out of position a little bit.
Actually, I'm a little surprised. Oh, I guess no. Damn, he's good. I love the Nidus play. That Nidus can even be a retreating Nidus.
Mm.
His macro is really impressive. But the thing about it too is it's not superhuman. You know what I mean? Like, this is macro I'd come to expect from Rogue or someone else.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's not incredible.
I think there's a lot of people that macro very well. I think
Yeah.
that what we're seeing here and what sets Serral apart with this is what his multitasking is looking at like right now. The movement of his central army and then the flanks of the swarm hosts have been really, really strong. And this was after a fantastic defense.
I would love to count the time between each army movement over and over again. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, every time the unit stops.
How often is he repositioning units?
Yeah, how long does that unit stay there for?
Well, you can follow this.
Like,
does that count?
I mean, that's only been a couple seconds still.
The thing is, people clicky many clicks. You know, like there's
Yeah,
400
clicky, many
APM
clicks,
baboons
there's
that
also,
just move their army around a lot.
But there's also some validity to moving your army constantly.
Yeah.
Because even if he scans and your army was sitting here and now it's not there anymore, even though it's right here, that's something.
Yeah.
It's like watching the corruptors, I can count like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, well, the corruptors are a little bit different. But
yeah, they're kind of reactive. They don't really do much except for go after BCs.
It's interesting. I mean, the army's still moving around quite a bit.
The corruptor's in a central location seems
also,
to be
it's mech. So in general, you're not supposed to be moving your army as much. If this is bio or Ling Bane needs to be moving all the time.
Oops.
And they get out.
And they're all dead.
Oh, never mind. And they get out.
Damn. These things just won't die. Well, you mottoed Infestors, didn't he? So that's how he got out of there. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Now, this is an interesting army composition.
Right? Isn't that weird?
I actually kind of like it. As long as there's no Broodlords, I quite like it.
I don't like it.
Well, I mean, like, what's the army? The Pack-a-Punch in here is like the Cyclone Hellbat or Hellion and the battle cruisers. Like, Thors feel fine, but they're not. They're really terrible when there's like a Ravager Ling army.
I don't like the Thor plays that people have been doing a little bit of.
Well, they kind of
I don't like them.
Make sense because you want something to do with Broodlords, and it's definitely not Cyclone Hellion, and you have Tech Labs factories. It's not going to be siege tanks. Like, what are you going to use your Tech Labs for?
Honestly, yeah. To be honest, I actually just don't like mech against Zerg right now.
I agree.
I really actually just don't, which is so weird for me to say of all people because I'm normally in love with mech and hailing it as the strongest thing.
Though.
I like BCs still a little bit. I think it's hard to go BCs right now, and it's a very different game, but
I like to see Juan-style BCs. Like, you remember Juan versus was it Ragnarok, where he just had like these huge BC clumps, and he would scan for infestors and just do damage like that? I'd like to see that again.
That's what I've been talking about. I think that's theoretically the most efficient thing you can do in the game.
Especially if you're going mech.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's about as efficient as mech
You're
gets.
like, I'm playing an hour game.
Exactly.
And you can leave when you want.
Like, you have to do that with like that in mind. Like, you're like, I'm leaving in an hour, but I'm going to get this win.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the point.
I think that's what that army does, and if you try to end it any quicker than that, you lose.
Long term, right?
Yeah.
Because you can slowly build them up too.
Yeah, and their range and the jumping capability and the fact that you have scans and you can have so many scans, I think it's amazing.
What do you think the best army would be to get to that? Is it mech to get to that point, or is it bio to get to that point?
Of the mass BC?
Like, where we're starting to add on
BCs? I think that if it's the mass BC mech.
I actually like bio because it has validity on trying to expand, like take these bases down. Because I think it's a lot easier to do this with bio than it is with mech.
But you'd have to play a very defensive bio, right?
Yeah, you would. I don't know if that actually gives them possibility to kill you too. If you defensive bio, is actually a good chance to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, this looks scary as hell if you're HeRoMaRiNE. I love the Banes though. Where are the infestors? There's one.
10 broods, suddenly.
Yeah, I think the broods are so important here. I think if he doesn't have broods, he actually could die.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
So this kind of brings validity to what I was saying before the fight happened, because I was like, the only thing that kills him here is broods. So I think that HeRoMaRiNE did intend to attack before broods.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he is attacking before broods. It's just you can buy enough time.
Yeah. Well, I think he was intending to not have him buy time, too. Look at this. This feels really bad. No scan here. Sees the broods, and he's like, damn it. I missed my 30-second window. Ah! Stormhost coming from the side.
Yeah, the flank, so sick.
But speaking on position, even though I don't really mind HeRoMaRiNE's position right now. Actually, do I? I mean,
I don't like
Serral's never gonna
the Cyclones at this point very much.
Serral would never push with his broods because it's basically his lifeline. Like if the broods are here,
Yeah.
he's very exposed.
Well, you can lose every base at that point.
Yeah. And also the sad thing with broods is if they're alone, they're actually like the most laughable units. Like part of the brood's strength is mostly the range and the buffer. You know, like with the combo of the both. Like this just fighting Thors dies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or this just fighting anything that can shoot them.
Well,
dies.
to be fair, it's like they can die to the Thors, but
unless you have 100 broodlords.
Yeah.
There's a period where broodlords actually get disgusting.
Yeah. There's just so many broodlings, nothing can.
I love to see like because there's a weird thing with broodlord scaling where like you have a certain amount, they're awful, but if you amplify it, they're like disgusting.
Yeah. If you have like 10, 15 broods.
I feel like it was Solar.
That's one thing. If you have like 3 broods, it's nothing.
Was it Solar TY or it was something? Someone.
Solar Maru, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think it was Solar Maru, where it got disgusting. Where we're like, we've got 2 corruptors and like
he wasn't mining
broodlords.
for like 7 or 8 minutes or something, and it didn't even matter.
Yeah, that game was actually really bad by Maru though. I felt like that was just a bad game by Maru.
Don't know if I agree with that.
I think you would if you remembered it fluently.
Yeah, maybe.
He was like, I'm gonna build 30 Thors and go, and we're like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, that was.
And then all the Thors die.
It was like Thor
and then he's like,
Liberator. Yeah, that was very weird.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna build 30 Thors and go, and then it doesn't work again, and we're like,
Yeah,
what are you gonna do this time, Maru? And he's like, I'm gonna build 30 Thors and go, and then it doesn't work again, and he loses, and we're like, okay, good job, Maru. Well done. And then what does he do? It's the 2-Rex time. Immediately 2-Rex. I remember I was.
Yeah.
I think I told you I would look like a genius every time because I could call Maru's 2-Rexes from a mile away. So he just doesn't give a damn.
Yeah.
As soon as he loses a game, he's like, I'm a 2-Rex. As soon as he wins a game, he's like, I'm going to 2-Rex. You could just guess half the time and be right and look like a genius. So, do you feel like we can take too much away from these engage? Because it feels like we had a lot more intel off the first game. If we had a second game like the first game, we'd be able to tell a lot more.
Yeah.
But these fights are like, he has to fight. It's not like really
he's being
a choice
forced
of doing
into these weird situations while he's trying to build a good army.
Like, he is decisive, but at the same time, he has to be. Like, the fights are at his door, not...
Yeah, it's not like he's guarding creep as much or anything.
Yeah, it's more just like...
I feel like we definitely got more out of that first game.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah.
This is great. Lings are so risky. Oh my god. Never seen a Nidus die so fast. This reminds me of like an egg, like with an Ultralist popping out. It's like 10, 15 times the size of the egg. Alright. Do we really want to go for 15 more minutes of mech? Because I don't think we're actually going to get much intel out of this. For
this is definitely different from what we kind of wanted to look at. HeRoMaRiNE is bringing up these unit comps and
no, never mind. Let's go. Did you watch? I think I casted Dark. One of the first times we saw Ultras emerging was Dark built Ultras versus mech. And it was just bad. He just died. But I was like, why? I was like, I couldn't wrap my head around it. I wish you were there so I could be like, what's going on?
Generally, you shouldn't build Ultras against mech. It's definitely an anti.
I saw the Ultralisk upgrade in the production tab, and I'm like, I wasn't even sure if that was Ultralisk legs. So I'm like, this would be the weirdest upgrade ever. Like, why would you get Ultralisk legs right now? I'm like, are we sure? Are we really sure he's getting Ultralisk legs right now? So I didn't even see the Ultralisk cavern in production. So me and Tasteless both looked like idiots because we're like, I don't know what that is, man. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's Ultralisk legs, but why would you ever get it? And then he built them.
Very weird.
The Ultralisk popped out. Thor's killed them immediately.
Yeah. I mean, Ultras can be good if it's a mass Thor army, but it has to be the right situation.
It was so bad.
If it's like just Thors
so
versus just Ultras,
are you sure?
you get wrecked.
They're so disgusting. Thors are so disgusting versus Ultras.
No, but if it's like a mass Thor army and you have a good spread and you have a bunch of lings,
one-shot Ultras.
Yeah, no, that's enough. I think that's all right though because you get.
If you have lings, the lings are actually what kill the Ultras.
Yeah.
The Ultras are actually just big meat shields that are absorbing damage.
But also they fire over the lings, and if the Ultras are not clumped up, the lings kill them harder. And if they are clumped up, the splash damage helps. So
Vipers. I mean, yeah, but if the Ultras, if you ever had Ultras versus Thors, you would have a laughably disgusting fight. Like you would kill one Thor, and all the Ultras would be dead.
Yeah, if it's just those two. It comes down to having the lings there too. Ultras alone are generally garbage.
The thing is, the Hellions usually kill all those, and then it is just Ultras versus Thors. That's usually what happens.
Mm.
Depends on the economies, but
It's very weird situations.
you
where
usually never
should be going
you
ultras,
just never
I
build
think.
ultras
Against mech.
Against mech, yeah. We're on our cameras, by the way, if that's intentional or not.
Oh no, it's not, but it doesn't matter because nothing's happened yet.
Pigs in chat.
What up,
Pig,
Pig?
aren't ultras just the worst
buddy.
units ever?
No. Ultras are great. Ultras are a very misunderstood unit and a hard to use unit.
A hard to use unit.
Mm-hmm.
That is the first time I've ever heard ultras. Like, it's true, but if you look at it from the surface level, you're like, this is just an
Dude.
A-move unit.
I'll never forget Tasia beating Sue. It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Sue's like, I'm a million miles ahead.
I'm going to build ultras.
I'm going to attack move into building walls with ultras 4 times so
This has been a
Tasia can
Zerg-
win and the Tasia fanboys can think he's better than me.
If there's ever been a dog whistle, this is actually one.
What?
Where there was like a proper meme for a long time that ultras are the unit you build when you want to lose in your head. And Zerg players would always build them and just throw them away.
Yeah, people are so bad with them is the thing. It is
they would throw them away and then
Yeah.
they'd be like, man, ultras suck.
Yeah. As if you're supposed to attack with everything. It's like, why didn't you just make 5 extra queens and just send them across the map? That would have worked well too, huh? Let's not be stupid here. Just attack move a group of mutas that late. It's like, what are you doing? Every unit has it. Move your swarm hosts across the map. You know, it's like so stupid. It's like late game putting all your money into sentries and going. It's like, what?
And then immediately after, they're like, sentries fucking suck.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
like not even like a second after.
You make 5 oracles late game. You're like, I'm gonna go get them. No,
Yeah.
you're not. You're not. That's not what it's for. Every unit
But
has its own use.
The best part is you make oracles late game and then you conclude, no, oracles just suck. Like,
I know.
just blanket statement over everything.
God,
This is a proper Zerg thing to do for a long time.
people are dummies, man.
I loved it. I was a part of that bandwagon. Just, no, ultras just suck, man.
They're-
You make them when
They're
you want to
really good.
lose.
They're a really good unit. They have their place. Not in every meta, not in every map, not in every game.
I'd love to see them be viable against Protoss. Because I feel like they should.
Immortals are just too good. Is
yeah,
the problem.
they are way too good.
I think that there are again very pocketed situations where you can make them in like very late game weird situations, but the Immortals
Almost
just too
never,
good.
though, really.
Yeah, it's
Because
just
like the Immortals are retained throughout the game too.
normally, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that there could be situations where later on, like once the Immortals get cleared after Broodlord Tech, if everything gets reset in a weird game, I could see Ultras being a useful momentary switch.
Yeah, I feel like,
Like if you went
if it was a bunch of
Broodlord-
Colossus.
Broodlord trade.
Like-
Well, let's say you had Broodlord type army, you trade into the Protoss army, and everything's kind of reset, and then you go Ultras for 1 round, and then back into Broods. I think that is an amazing move because the Immortals are gone. You force them into Immortals again. You don't need that many Ultras, 3 Ultras or something, and they're going to do very well against everything that's being warped in. Your opponent has to get into Immortals, and then you're back into your other army, and it's like...
The problem with Ultras, too, though, is they're only really strong with the upgrades, right? Like, the Ultras are fine, but you can totally kill them with Zealot Stalker or whatever if they don't have Concussive or not Concussive. They don't have Chitinous.
Oh, yeah, no, you need to get Kindness.
And the thing is, we don't get Carapace upgrades against Protoss. That's another thing.
Oh.
So, like, Chitinous...
No, sometimes you do.
I mean, come on.
Sometimes.
We're really going down the rabbit hole of, like, making Ultras viable, right?
Yeah, no.
And the problem is that that's never, like, a proper gameplay with the arcane plan.
It's
Like
harder
if your
to
game
fit
plan
it.
was to make Ultras viable and versus Protoss, it would be really
Well,
weird.
no, I mean it would be like kind of a support unit that gets you into there. The thing is, yeah, if you're not getting carapace upgrades at all, probably that won't work
you
as
would
much.
get +2 Ultras, and then they would have Stalkers out, and they'd be like,
Yeah,
fuck.
that's not
they'd be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
is that an Ultra? They blink a couple
they would
Stalkers
still do.
back.
They would still do.
They would do okay.
They
would
do
do.
all right.
They would trade. Like your Ultras would kill something,
Yeah.
but then they'd be like,
I think the cool part is if you do have any sort of upgrades, you can force the reproduction of Immortals, which Protoss doesn't actually want to make late game. Like in an actual legitimate late game, if you're making Immortals, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What, it's not a legitimate.
what
late
are you
game,
doing? Yeah.
It's
I've
not a
seen
unit you want to make
some
late.
play around Ultra Rushes, but they feel so dumb
Though,
too.
I remember some very old ones.
No, they were proper memes. I remember loving it because I would go melee lings, and I'd be like, you know what complements melee lings?
Oh yeah.
Ultras. And the best part is back then they would go Colossi to deal with my melee lings,
Oh god.
and then I would show up with like 7 Ultras and like all those melee lings from before because I would never fight them, and they'd have 3 Colossus microing back, and I'd be like, you're
so dead.
so sad.
There's nothing as bad as a Colossus against Ultras.
It's actually true.
I can't think of anything as bad as that.
Nothing. I think a zealot actually does more damage if you just run one zealot in.
You're probably actually right on that. Colossus are just, oh my god. So it's another BC game.
That disappoints me a little bit.
Yeah, I really wanted to see another
HeRoMaRiNE's
bio game.
bio game looks so impressive to me because it actually felt like there was a lot of room to win those games. I mean, sure, Serral did take some bad engages, but yeah.
Well, I just think that BC, I think mech right now specifically is not very good. I really don't like it in this meta.
Yeah.
I think it's all about bio right now. You saw Mario vs. Ragnarok, right?
I believe so.
Oh, then you definitely didn't. You got to watch it. It's amazing.
Well, refresh me. Like I'm watching other games.
It was like bioplay where he was everywhere at all times, like hitting 5 places.
I did not watch that.
Oh my god!
I heard it was a good series.
He played out of his mind, and Ragnarok played so well.
Yeah, I heard that.
So well. You got to watch that.
I was triggering Juan because I was like, Ragnarok got bopped, and he's like, no, he didn't. I'm like, look at the results. It's 3-1. He got bopped.
Oh, he did not get bopped. He played so well.
I know. It was triggering. Sometimes you just trigger each other, you know?
For the lulls, as they say.
Yeah.
You kids and your lulls.
Because there's some validity. It's a 3-1, you know? But really there isn't. It's the same thing with me saying, actually, yeah, we talked about this off stream. Like, our North America needs more slots because it's underrepresented or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that is a very good way to trigger every single European ever. Okay.
So just kind of a low drone, very aggressive play this game against BC.
Yeah. This is interesting. 25 workers killed.
I love it!
Oh, he dodged it by going in the Nidus. Oh, amazing. That was cool.
Amazing.
That's like the first time I've seen it not go off.
It's so funny, you know, I think that we start every episode with an idea of what we're going to be looking at, and then we barely get to look at it. Because it's like these games...
The first game was great.
The first game,
example.
Yeah.
It was a really great example.
We got so much great stuff, but then he didn't win a lot of engages.
If that game hadn't gone down that route of like going for that planetary, I think we would have had so much more intel.
Yeah.
But I do feel like my point has some validity now that he actually just has more units in a lot of these situations, and he's extremely decisive. Like, he's not necessarily doing anything amazing. He's not splitting, and he doesn't have like a perfect surround and all of it. Like, he just has a lot of units, and he just immediately jumps on it, no thoughts, and he immediately pulls back when he should. Sometimes he can't pull back when he wants to, and sometimes he has to attack when he doesn't want to. But he's extremely decisive. I think that's what makes him so good.
I think if you're going to be a Zerg champion, that's the most important thing. That's what was really talked about with Jaedong. When Jaedong was rising up, is that he was the most decisive Zerg. He would just instantly make his decision and go through with it. And he'd micro as best he could and do the best he could with it. And that's really the difference for Zerg, because your units are like fucking paper airplanes or whatever, right? They're so weak. They're wet newspapers. So you gotta get something done with them when you make your move.
This is why I was thinking a bit more about taking Serral out of the game, right? At like certain points in the game, right? And seeing what other Zerg players do, he put them in the same situations. Because I do think he does things better, but I think it's his decisiveness. Also, like, everything compiling is great. Like, his macro is insane. His creep spread is good. I mean, his decision-making is on point. Yeah. But he is, like, incredibly decisive. Like, even to a fault to some extent. Like, that planetary fight was incredibly decisive. But is it incredibly decisively good? No.
Yeah.
Right?
No, that's I guess you're right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, he did not hesitate, and as his
if he had hesitated and then still gone in,
that would be bad. But what if he had hesitated and pulled back everything, and saved all his army?
Well, that
probably would not have been
better.
But he would have hesitated. So you can be decisive to a fault, but if we made if we put all of the engagements on a sheet, the amount of times he's wrong is like far minimally, like, compared to the times he's right or wrong.
Well, the thing is that one wrong decision can lead to so many lost engagements as well.
Sure.
So there's two options. We have like 15, 20 minutes max left here. We can check out Serral versus Haas, because I know you wanted to check out some cheese scouting patterns, or Serral versus Neeb for more engagements.
This is a good one.
Those are both good.
Click on the Serral vs. Haas game. 7 minutes.
We got a 9-minute and a 7-minute.
How long are the Neep games? I feel like we're probably going to take a lot more time with it.
13, 5,
5?
15.
Cannon Rush?
It's on Acropolis. Yeah, maybe. Not sure what else it would be.
Serral Neeb's Pig says. All right, let's go Serral Neeb. But we only have time for one game, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
What game do we do, Pig? You've watched them. So I'm curious with the 5-minute game. I'm actually quite curious. 10-1 decisiveness pays itself. It seems like as long as you know when to macro, when to drone, when not to drone, when to build links, when not to build links, decisiveness trumps everything. Because there's only so much stuff you can have as a Terran player, right? If you're a perfect Terran, absolutely perfect in every way, you can't have more stuff than HeRoMaRiNE had, really. At that like first engage, like how could you possibly squeeze out more units?
Yeah. Well,
right?
I mean,
like HeRoMaRiNE is pretty close to like at that point, nothing has happened.
I think when
you know what I mean?
When you become like a very good player, that's when you work on being decisive. It's like first and foremost mechanics. Produce your units, get lots of stuff. That's really important. I would say that is the most important thing. Not strategy, guys.
Yeah,
not
actually
strategy.
just grinding.
Then strategy, I would say. Right?
Yeah.
Like
when I first started, I can remember because I was in like bronze and silver or whatever, because I was playing on a laptop. That'll be my excuse. But I remember like just looking up a build and then playing that every single game. That one build, and then I started getting better because I started finding variants in that build and that kind of stuff. And eventually, I played enough games that I could start developing my own stuff. I didn't start developing my own stuff until I was master, and it wasn't very much different. Like it was like 3-month period between when I was bronze and master. But once I started developing myself, it never went back. But to start, it's a million times easier to just take someone else's build order and play it.
Yeah.
Because
they've
already done all the work
can't figure out. You're not going to be able to figure out how to optimize anything until you're really good. You have to get so good to be able to optimize your own builds. It's like seriously good.
Right. It's kind of like net decking in Hearthstone.
Sure. Yeah, totally.
Or even looking up openings in chess. Like all these stuff has already been figured out for you. So why would you ever develop it on your own in a like a bubble?
Ooh, a Twilight opener.
Twilight opener.
Looking for engagements here. Love the Ling run up. Amazing.
Yeah. This is what I love about Neeb, by the way. There's a huge variety of what he can do. Like if it was a Stargate or just a Robo first, it also would not have been incredibly surprising. But opening Twilight first is something I haven't seen. Like
well, it's funny. That's a late Dark Shrine right there, isn't it? Huh.
Yeah, and it's after the Twilight got scouted too.
Yeah.
This madman. Yeah, it might be a little late. It's not hugely late. I'm impressed that he just telegraphs what he's doing. He's like, yeah.
Well, it is a solid build. It's not, this is not something that's bad.
Actually, I was talking to Estrella, and he was like, he was preparing for Scarlet and telling me he wanted to go Archon drop. I'm like, do not go Archon drop. I'm like, if you go Archon drop, expect to kill nothing. Like, if you're fine with doing that and killing nothing, do it. Because then I'm like, you're getting your a position you're comfortable with every game, but do not go into it expecting to kill anything.
It's actually right now it's like Oracle openers.
Yeah.
Where you're like, well, I guess with 3 Oracles you actually get more kills now.
3 Oracles.
But
is like
the
thing,
Oracle openers that we had 2 months ago.
You build a Phoenix and you build an Oracle.
And you get 2 drone kills every time.
Exactly.
That's what it is right now.
Yeah. How many drones have been killed? None.
Yeah.
This is exactly my point to him. It's just like, if you're going to do it, you expect to kill nothing.
Yeah.
Because Zerg players are so well prepared for it now. Like, we've been playing it for so long. Archon, like, think about how long Archon drop's been a thing.
Very long time.
Like, at least a year and a half, maybe 2.
I think it's over 2 years now, actually.
Yeah.
It was Overgrowth as the first map it started popping out on.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time since Overgrowth.
And at some point, it was the only thing, too. So, not only do you have a lot of play or practice against it, but it actually was a completely standard thing for so long that it's impossible to not be good against it if you're a Zerg player. Even if you're like a random Joe. I love mutas against Archon drop too. We
Yes.
talked about this at some point.
A lot
Yeah.
in the past. I'm just a big proponent of mutas in general in this matchup.
Look at this. Flies right over the army.
Nice stuff.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like, you're just building drones and roaches at this point too.
Well, you're getting ready for the actual engage.
Yeah. This is so great. I think the huge validity of it is it has to be respected. You know what I mean? Like, Terran players do not respect this many mutas. Like, it just does not happen. You do not respect 7 mutas.
Yeah, yeah.
But Protosses, they have to respect 7 mutas.
Mm-hmm. And not just that, like, this is very old, what Serral has forced here. The going Baneling speed against the forcing the Blink Stalkers. I think that it's just such a solid thing to
like
do.
Step 1, Step 2, Step 3, Step 4.
Yeah.
Like building on a solid foundation.
Yeah. Well, that's not somewhere you want to engage.
I actually like this map because of that.
Oh, the bridges, yeah.
Yeah, because like it's a point far enough away that you don't get punished for it being like close to you. But it's also a point where you have to truly consider crossing. Because I've played a lot of Ling games where, like, I'm even conscious of where the 4 Hellions are at certain points in the game because I'm like, I do not want to engage 4 Hellions on this ramp or on this bridge. And I've never had to think like that, except for maybe, was it Cyber Forest with, like, this little tiny choke in the middle?
Yeah.
But that felt more gimmicky than this.
Well, I know how he wins this engagement. His army is so... like, he out-teched him.
Is there stasis?
Stasis? How would there be stasis or no Stargate?
Oh, yeah, see? I was going to say the only thing that can stop it is stasis.
Yeah, and there's no way to stop this. When you've gone Blink Stalkers at this point, it's...
And this is just forced because of
God, he's only got 3 Archons in here, too.
The thing is, too, I think Protoss have to respect the fact that it could be more than 6 or 7 muta. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the
why
problem.
they go the Blink Stalker. Because if everyone was like, well, I'm only making 7 and I'm not making them anymore, then you'd never do that. You'd just be like, okay, I've got my cannons up.
Well, if you don't open Stargate and you decide to go into Blink Stalker, this is such a real thing that occurs. Like, this has been around a long time.
Yeah.
Look at this. Baneling speed is about to finish. He hits exactly as it finishes. And it's just like, holy
Even the force field timings is pretty good.
The damage output of this army is just not good enough.
Yeah, like he split off a good portion of the army. These Banes do so much damage. Like, when they go unchecked like this and they're rolling around the army, like, you just do so much damage without even really...
My God. So now he's reduced the Archon count. He killed every sentry. He killed off at least one Immortal.
And he got
he's
all
damaged
of
the
his really
Stalkers.
expensive units out, too.
Yeah, and that's right. He gets out with, like, the good stuff. Well, I mean, Blink's about to finish. Maybe he will end up losing that, but...
I mean, if you blink on that, you're a madman, and Neeb would totally do it.
Oh, I think you got to blink on that. You can't just sit there.
I guess. I would just be worried, like, if 10 Lings show up, that
every
Blink Stalker's dead.
Well, I think after that engage, I'd be looking at this and be like,
how can I win? Maybe if I kill
he is going to have so much in the next attack.
That's
you thought
true.
that attack was bad? The next one's way worse.
Yeah.
It does not get better from here.
Sure.
You didn't retain Archons. You don't have Psystorm. No, next one's not going to be any good.
I agree. I feel like we've taken away a lot of tools that Neeb was really good with before. Because I think Neeb, if you give Neeb 2017 Neeb this position, he's like, all right, I'm going to turtle. I'm going to go up to my Sky Toss. I'm going to build shield.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it feels like that's not a winning play anymore.
It's not a winning play anymore. The late game Protoss against Zerg is not something that any Protoss wants to do at the moment. You know, the thing is, he has to make an army that can attack at some point. Like, he needs to basically move in before Broodlords are out.
Right.
Because if you don't, you're dead.
And
so
this is never something you can actually attack with, because Mass Bane Ravager Roach is going to mess you up.
Like, I mean, if you're going Stalker, I like some of the ideas we've seen from some European Protosses with Stalker Colossus.
Yeah.
Because they actually fit together. Stalkers in this type of army, I don't think they actually do much.
Ultraling could actually deal with that army.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a real thing, man.
We're going to see
Ultras have
Dark
their
randomly
place.
build an Ultra and be like, whoa, it's terrible. I'll never build those again. But we can see why you did that. This is the funniest thing ever. I've played so many games of me Baneling busting, and they warp in an Adept. I'm like, okay. I just kill it immediately.
Yeah.
But they always try it.
It's kind of a reflex. You just instantly do it.
There's one sentry in there.
Dancing from Serral's fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, this is actually something we could learn something from.
Yeah.
All right, let's watch Serral's cam. just to see exactly what he selects and that kind of stuff.
Okay, macroing up. Cancel that Nexus. God, that's a lot of Banelings. Is that what we're going to learn?
Yeah, that is what we're going to learn. Going Corrosive Vials.
But look, his engages are great. Did you see that, how he switched to the mutas?
As soon as he waited for the Corrosive Vials to drop, too.
Because he pulled back at that moment, too, so as to not take extra damage.
Yeah.
And then he pulls back again, throws his Vials, don't chase me.
He goes to a point where you can't force field anymore. Look at the mutas. They're still alive.
It's
Incredible.
ridiculous.
Does he actually has to hold position them, I think. Damn.
Oh, that was some beautiful stuff.
I think a lesser Zerg would have gone in, too. And like
yeah,
lost his
someone might
army.
try to finish. But you know what? If you pull back defensively like this, make sure all your bases are set. Neeb's still sitting on 3 base, and his army sucks. His army can't come across the map and kill you on creep. It can't happen.
Yeah,
it can't happen.
It can't. And he wants to, too, because if you get to Broods,
yeah.
then he's fat. Look at
so
the
all you need to
on the way.
all you need to do now is go to Broods.
82 drones.
God.
Yeah, good luck.
The thing is, I actually want to see Serral go out and pick another small engagement. Just keep reducing that army a little bit.
Agree.
But don't do a full engage. Unless, obviously, you see the army just sitting
You
there.
can even do a full
it.
engage, but back up all the Roach Ravager, because I think you can actually replenish the link, especially with 80 drones.
Yeah.
Like, it's unnecessary, but you could. You know what I mean?
Well, I think you want to continually reduce the army as much as you can.
The only way you could lose is if he gets, like, a max army or something, like a Death Ball.
Well, yeah, you
but
need
the
to...
Brood Lords should be out by then, too.
But each time they're engaging, he's reducing the technicality of the army, and that's, like, so powerful.
Oh, this is so good by Neeb.
Yeah.
Leaving Stalkers in the wall.
I know that you hate Stalkers with Banelings.
But they're
the bust.
They're the bane of my
Oh, I saw this clip on Reddit.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Watch and see if he makes a Swarm Host. After you hit that,
he's not gonna make one.
Yeah. Too much respect for Neeb.
No, that's not it. I'm sure he thinks he's winning this game a lot more than he was winning the last one.
God.
I can't believe you think Serral actually is like thinking about it. He's like, okay, I'm winning at this point. Swarm host time. Like,
I can't believe you don't think that.
I know.
I bet you think the Stonecutters aren't real either. No regret.
Stonecutters? Is that like a plant?
No. We'll talk later.
A insect? Yeah. I mean, this feels great if you're Serral.
No, his engages here are perfect. Like, the way he's getting in, right? Look at this.
Like
this engage is amazing. The move
this is
command.
like the point where Neeb has to go anyways, because even in some weird case where he doesn't go and he gets this fourth base up, he's going to deal with Broodlords and a Zerg that keeps attacking him.
The army just keeps getting better for Serral and not for Neeb. It's so hard to go into Stalkers in this situation. I don't think you can do it. Yeah. I really don't. And the thing is, Neeb is so much better than almost everyone in the world that I bet you he has plenty of games where he wins in situations like that, but I think against an equally leveled player, going Blink Stalkers when you're on Archon Immortal, I don't think it's doable.
I think he doesn't even want to, right? It's just like the better of two evils. Like it's like you go that or Phoenix. You don't want to go Phoenix on 7 mutas and die to Ravager Bane. Like it's way worse to go Phoenix than it is to go Stalkers.
No, I don't think that's even true. I think that
you actually just die.
No, I don't think you do. I think you can set up a defensive formation.
Well, first off,
that
it doesn't have a Stargate at all.
No, I know, but I think that you can add one and get into it. But I think if you are committing to Stalkers, I just don't think it's doable at all. In fact, we saw who was it that blindly he went right into the double Stargate because he knew this shit was coming because the mutas are so popular right now, and then it got scouted.
Oh. I think I know
that just happened in GSL. Because that's the kind of the meta that we're evolving into. Because it's like, yeah, you're right. If you don't have the Stargate, it gets very tough. And you have to respect the possibility that they can go for quite a few mutas because the base trade is real. But,
well, I think a lot of the reason why I think mutas are so strong with Archon drop is because there's no Spire or Stargate.
Yes, exactly. But I think blindly adding the Stargate is the next step in the evolution because Blink Stalkers are so terrible.
Yeah, but you do lose the timing attack possibly. If you go Stargate and they're not going muta? Because then you're investing in techs that don't really have an aggressive point in the map.
What are they going if they're not going muta?
Infestors?
No, they can't go Infestors that early.
Well,
you'll kill them.
Roach Ravagerling and then go into a Fester.
I don't think so.
Come on, dog.
That's a lot later. You're talking about a lot later in the game.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. The Zerg just wants to go later. You're telling me that they go Stargate or they don't open Stargate.
No,
They go
I'm
Stargate
saying that
Room.
I think that the meta is going to evolve into adding the Stargate. If you're going for a DT-based Archon drop, I think you're going to blindly add a Stargate.
I think it's more likely
I
that
think it's
DT-based
possible that you
Archon
can
drop just leaves. Like, it just leaves the meta.
That is a possibility as well.
Yeah.
That is definitely a possibility.
I see where you're going with this, but at that point you're like, well, why am I going DT Archon drop anyways, right? Like, it doesn't do anything, and then I'm adding
the thing
Stargate.
is, you
like,
can,
why wouldn't I open Stargate first?
You can have the two branches, one where you do Stargate and one where you don't, and then if you are alternating those, that can become strong.
I feel like the whole point of this build is to do some kind of timing.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. DT-based Archon drop is for a timing attack.
But you lose your timing as soon as the mutas pop, because you have to respect them.
But the thing is, if you actually made a Stargate, you still have your timing.
Kinda. Depends on how many Phoenixes you make.
Well, the thing
also
is,
depends
all
on
you have to do then is make lots of Archons. If you do a very Archon-heavy attack instead of more Immortal-heavy,
sure.
because the Ling Bane that they're having to make to try to stop you.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I also feel like this is it's inconsistent for the Protoss to the point where if you're a Neeb, you feel like you're banking on this is a little bit of a risk. You know what I mean? When you feel like you're a solid player, like Showtime. Showtime's not going to be like, I just really want to get this attack off. I'm going to make a bunch of Archons and hope they don't, have whatever defense they need. Like, you don't want to do that. That is the lesser of many evils.
Okay,
though.
I see what you're saying, but Protoss is a timing attack race right now against against Zerg. It is a timing attack race, so you have to do that. And not necessarily that attack, but I think that that's a good one at the moment.
Do you think that late game for Protoss is completely inviolable, or do you think we need to find our stride still?
Well, I think that there's still some evolution to come, but if you just if you just make two endgame armies and put them on a map and look at how they interact, it's the Protoss army doesn't win.
I like the old late game army because I know we made so many memes about how
Sky
carriers
Tosses
were just really lame and you just aim move with them.
Yeah.
But I liked where we were going with it because we were actually going to a point where strategic recall was really interesting, and we were changing the game around that, right? But when was the last time you saw a strategic recall? It just doesn't really happen anymore. It's like I attack and then I either win or lose the game right now. That's how PvZ is.
Yeah.
But before, remember Neeb? I think it was Neeb would build Nexi, here, and here, and he would attack with his Sky Toss and he'd recall it over here and attack here. That looks lame or it feels lame as the Zerg, but it's something of substance.
Super cool. It's super cool.
Rather than just I'm gonna attack and I die, or I'm gonna attack and I win.
Yeah,
that's how his EVP is right now.
Yeah, I think that there needs to be they need to work a little bit on late game EVP. I think it's not in a very healthy
if the infestor
place
changes,
it
will kind of balance out.
Yeah, it could.
Because right now it feels like Zerg are doing that thing where they're just like, if I get infestors, you're never attacking me, and then I'm getting broodlords, and you're never attacking me, and then I'm going. I'm killing you.
Yeah.
I'm taking your stuff and I'm fighting you with your stuff.
Yeah.
So you
very much.
You better hope.
Steal all those Archons. I guess my Corruptors kill all your Tempests. Ha ha ha! I'm good.
Yeah.
All right. I think that has to do it, though.
Yeah.
I think that is pretty much the end of the episode.
Yeah.
We did some. I think that this game against Neeb showed some beautiful engagements by Serral, and I think game 1 against HeRoMaRiNE showed beautiful engagements. The mech game's not as much because that's such a different beast.
It's a different beast, yeah.
Yeah, and I would say don't go mech against Zerg right now, guys. I don't think it's very good. We have one question in here.
Sure.
Ayamura asks, it seems late game TVZ quite often has a stage where there's a big air battle where the Terran tries to stop Zerg's Broodlord push. I've noticed that Terrans almost never get a Raven into their comp in these situations, even though anti-armor missile seems very useful for me. To me, for Viking versus Corruptor. Am I missing something? What are your thoughts on Ravens in low numbers to help against Corruptors?
It depends on the starport a lot of the time. Like this, again, if you're going bio or something, the starport's on a reactor, so it makes a little bit of sense. But for Terrans, especially when they go BC, the idle time of the battle, I think it's okay, maybe really late game. But I would always value a battle cruiser, like the two or three battle cruiser timing, mid game over a Raven.
I think he's talking about not battle cruiser games.
Well, it's the only games really.
Because a lot of the air battles that we see that look like what he's talking about here are bio-based.
Okay, bio-based. It's because the reactor is not on.
Yeah. I think
there's no
that's
Tech Lab starport for a while.
But I think also as we get later into the game, we should have a Tech Lab starport because I think not only is an anti-armor missile obviously awesome. Yeah, Lib Range is obviously awesome too. But I actually think that we could see more interference matrix used against Vipers. Because a lot of times the swing of the battle is actually 2 parasitic bombs on your Vikings.
Or
So if you can disable those for a little bit,
blinding clouds too. Which
yeah,
are
those
really,
definitely do a lot as well.
yeah, I
but
agree.
the parasitic bombs
I
I have
think there's
found to be a terrible
total
issue.
viability. I just think that it's not because of the add-ons a lot of
Yeah.
the time. Also, you do have to think about like the time the Terran players. Like for me, when I play Terran, it actually is kind of annoying to like swap reactors and tech labs and all this stuff while I'm attacking. And Terran is such a momentum-based army or race where they're just continually all over the place.
Yeah.
That you actually adding the stuff on is really annoying.
Mm.
Like especially when running out of map or base to build stuff.
Yeah.
I think it can be viable though to answer the question.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's and we've talked about this quite a bit where it seems like Terran has the most room for fixing up strategies and making
and adding
improvements
things
to
make
late
them
game
more efficient,
especially.
Yeah.
And I think TVP definitely and TVZ even.
Do you know if there's going to be another patch before BlizzCon?
I don't think so. I think that's it. I'm
Okay,
pretty sure.
I really hope not. I want to see changes to Protoss, I think specifically.
I think we're going to get a good patch after BlizzCon.
Because actually,
I think we're going to have a
TVZ
very
I
interesting
know we're
patch.
memeing that it seems really strong for Zerg, and it is, but I actually do feel there is room. But in PVZ, it feels really weird. PVZ, like PVZ does not. It feels like we have multiple times where the Zerg has a huge edge, and then Protoss has a huge edge, and then Zerg has a huge edge again.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're going through multiple stages of like game-ending scenarios, which in general feel really boring to me. The best games for me are like when I have question marks on who's going to win.
Hmm.
But I see you're playing the music, trying to cut me out.
Playing the ending music.
Okay. Well, you want to end the show?
I think so. But first, guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to check out our Patreon if you like the show, patreon.com/indepthsc2. We did a lot of updates to it recently.
Yes. We want to hit $500 so we can do some fun stuff, fun content.
That's right.
As a reward.
That's right. It's been a fun episode. I hope you found it informative. Anything else from you?
No.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you nerds later.